or with a projector on the screen that actually is showing these sorts of items. But do we need these sorts of public environments anymore? Because some of the benefits of VR are that you can be wherever you want to be, perfectly accessible. So when something's as accessible in your home as it is going out into the public for, it makes it much more important. Easy to share is a huge issue with virtual reality at the moment. Now you can all see a slideshow behind me that is running inside a browser. What some of you won't be aware of is that each of you are seeing your own version of that slideshow. There isn't one version that I'm controlling. There is, each of you are connected to that same website separately, and as I make a change on one of my websites, on the website which is controlling it, it then goes through to changing all the different pages that you guys are looking at. And that isn't very easy to share. So if I was to do something interactive on the board behind me, none of you would actually be able to see what buttons I was clicking or what sections I was going to, unless it actually changed the URL of the web page, and then it would change for all of you as well. And that can be quite tricky to allow things, to make things easier for people to share. So that's something else to take in mind when we're looking at building these sorts of VR environments. Making things easier to share would be much more simplistic. Now, that's not to say there aren't solutions out there. Big screen is a way that people can all go and watch films together in virtual reality, and there was Oculus Spaces, which allowed you to watch live events. But even in all of these sorts of situations, what you are seeing is each person getting a separate stream of that information, rather than just having one set of stream of information broadcast to everybody in almost a peer-to-peer way. And that can make things difficult for having shared experiences in VR. It doesn't mean that it's impossible, but it's much more difficult than it is, say, having a few people huddled around on a computer. If we were in a work environment right now and I wanted to scribble some notes on a pad of paper and pass it to one of you, I could do that quite quickly and easily. To do the same thing in virtual reality is almost impossible. I'd have to have some sort of virtual pad underneath me, a virtual pen to write on that pad, and that piece of paper would then have to be an object in 3D space that I could actually send to somebody. We have systems like Microsoft Teams and Slack which allow people to be together in a virtual environment, and these should be considered just as accessible VR spaces as something that is true virtual reality in 3D in a lot of cases. Now, making people easy to talk to. Obviously, all of you here are able to hear me, hopefully, fingers crossed. And all of you or quite a few of you on different platforms, which makes sense as well. So that's a really useful way of being able to show how technology is moving on. Something like AltSpace being accessible on PC in 2D mode as well as 3D sets is brilliant, but it's not available on mobile phones or tablets unless there used to be a version on Android, and I was able to pick up the APK actually for that, and I was able to run it on my Android device. But obviously it's not available in any Play stores or anything like that at the moment, and it's an old version that's a bit buggy, doesn't work as well. It would be really useful if all these sorts of shared experiences were available in some way for all the different platforms that we have available. And there's a group of people trying to do that, make that happen now, and they call it WebXR is the latest version. And WebXR is a really interesting environment. The only difficulties I've had with WebVR is the speed of actually being able to walk around, etc. On an Oculus Go, it's an underpowered machine. If I spin my head too fast, I get black boxes appear at the sides of my vision, and it takes some time to build up. So what I'm personally looking at doing at the moment is looking at building an engine which takes WebXR data and actually makes it a bit more efficient, built in Unity. I'm not the only person to be doing that. There's quite a few companies looking at something called Exotech, which does something very similar. But it does actually help things become much more cross-platform if we had a cross-platform language that we could actually build 3D worlds in and be able to use on different systems. Letting go of the real world is difficult, as I've already previously mentioned. You want to still be able to have access to the real world as well and have portals almost into the real world. So there's something that there should be almost an accompanying app with anyone who's in virtual reality that allows people to be able to talk to them in the real world. For example, at the moment, I'm getting notifications appearing on an Apple Watch, and because of the type of headset I've got, I can actually see my Apple Watch underneath my nose piece. But it would be much more useful for me sometimes if my notifications actually came up in here in virtual reality. Again, augmented reality or AR is going to be something that is probably going to be much more important to people than virtual reality for a lot of situations. Having conferences where you can see people virtually floating in front of you and talking to you rather than being completely isolated is probably something that is going to be really important in the future. So, there's a picture here that I've got which is an important one. One aspect of virtual reality which is quite well recognised is it being used in hospitals and involved in people where you actually want people to be taken out of the situation that they're currently in, whether that be PTSD therapy, whether that be that they're suffering from burns or something like that, or even having surgery in some cases. There's all sorts of things that you can actually do to reduce pain just by distracting the brain without having to worry about medication. That's actually an MRI scan of looking at pain-related activity, and the same individual, they were going through a very hard time with third-degree burns over 75% of their body, and you can see that when they were immersed actually in an environment, it was a sea-based environment, they were swimming with dolphins, it wasn't interactive, it was just 360-degree 3D videos. They were actually much more happier and without pain than anywhere else. So sometimes this ability to be out of the real world is actually just as important as still being able to be in the real world. However, stopping us from doing that is things like intuitive controls. Now, I've got a very, very simple handset in my hand at the moment, as most of you have if you're on the Oculus Go or Quest. I can move my hand about, and it's very, very intuitive-ish for me to be able to put my thumb up or move around on this, so I can teleport wherever I want to just by clicking a couple of buttons. That's great because I've got full access to my limbs. What happens if I am stuck in a wheelchair and I cannot have no physical control over my body in that way? Microsoft is doing a huge amount of work in accessible controllers, and their accessible controller for Xbox is phenomenal. It's the most amazing piece of work for allowing people to actually experience controls, etc., together and play together, no matter what type of physical ailments that you might have. But it doesn't work for everything, and it doesn't work for everybody yet. Where are we moving to with intuitive controls that would allow people to actually use VR in a much easier way? Some of the original VR systems actually got around a lot of problems by having a single dot that appeared in the middle of your screen. Some of you will remember this from Gear VR, and you just highlight over the item that you want to look at or move to. You'd wait a few seconds for a timer to run, and then it would cause that to be in action. Having that sort of ability would be really useful for a lot of people. Newer headsets are coming up with eye tracking, so they can actually see where you're looking at. The main reason that headset manufacturers want that is actually so that they can render things in more detail at the point where you're looking and lower detail where you're not, to save computing power. But another use of that is that you can actually look at an item and blink or do some sort of action and activate that item without actually having to use hands or feet or any other control mechanism. VR obviously is not just for games. We're proving that hopefully here today. And a lot of conferences could benefit from something like this. There's so many conferences that you have to travel to, you have to go to, where you're going to pick up illnesses, which is the big worry that people have at the moment with coronavirus being the big boogeyman of today. But there'll always be something somewhere that people are worrying about in terms of picking up something, or even difficulty in ways that where they can actually get to an item. There's lots and lots of conferences that might be in a main city that is easy to get to by train or travel if you live in that same country. But if you live in a different country, if you don't have the money or the ability to be able to go in those sorts of environments for whatever reason, it stops it from being accessible to you. if you can jump into a conference or into a presentation or lecture, especially with education, wherever you are, that becomes really, really powerful. As was mentioned by Tim at the start, I have a system that I call vCollege. It is not a virtual reality environment, it's a virtual learning environment, and it's completely two-dimensional. It allows you to access all your assignments, all your lesson plans, everything that you might need as a student, as well as a teacher. Wherever you are on any device. But it also has accessibility controls built in. So for example, the font can be changed to a dyslexia font. The colour scheme can be completely changed to whatever background colours or foreground colours that you need for whatever conditions that you might have. But also it allowed me to do live streaming. So every single one of my lessons, as I taught it in a lecture theatre or in a classroom, was live streamed on YouTube and was accessible by all the different students that I had wherever they might be. So if they were too poorly to come in for whatever reason, they could still follow along the lecture at home. They could also then talk via a text system to me and actually say exactly what they want to ask as a question, and I could then respond in real time through the live broadcast. They could also talk to me afterwards on text, so I could then explain things to them. Obviously, the entire live stream was then saved as a recording on YouTube, so that after those the lesson has finished, people can actually go back over those items to remind themselves of some of the things that I've talked about, rather than have to worry about referring to notes that might be scribbled, etc. A lot of people struggle making notes, and having that accessible at any point actually saves me a lot of work as an assignment, and actually go back over the information that they went through before. Right, where are we? So I'm having to look through my nose again. We've talked about all of this already, but some of the things where we haven't talked about, I suppose, when we are designing systems, and when I mean systems, I mean the software systems. Hardware can be adapted for different people's purposes, but what we need to do is think about, when we're making these platforms and software, how we can be as inclusive as possible. Whether that be, as I say, at the moment, everyone's seeing the same scene, I think, as I am. You're all seeing the same slideshow as I am. But what would be really useful is if those people who need like a yellow background and black writing could actually change my slides as we are speaking to make that happen. My college system actually runs over the web, and I ran a lesson in virtual reality just like this. It was set in just a local space, and I did actually set that up so that my main projection that you can see in the background there, people were able to log into with their own settings, and as I moved from slide to slide, they actually had their own settings appearing for them, and nobody else knew about it, because at the end of the day, that's one of the benefits of virtual reality. We can actually alter the environment around ourselves to match what we need as individuals without actually affecting what the other people in the same environment see or do. Processing speed is a really important one. Now, I talk really quite quickly, especially if it's a subject I'm excited about, passionate about, etc. And some people have problems with their processing speed. Now, with virtual reality working the way that it does, there's nothing to actually stop a program from being able to slow down this entire scene. So we could actually run this entire conference at half speed, for example, or 3/4 speed. And so those people who are running at that sort of speed, they get like a buffer of information, and as my live broadcast is continuing, they're living through it slower than everybody else that's here, but they can still listen in and take all that information in. A bit like a Sky Go box or a Sky Q box. You could actually possibly rewind this presentation if some of you had missed something, or pause it, and the rest of this presentation could actually then continue for everybody else in the room. But for anybody who wants to be able to sort of focus on something else for a short while, just like any form of video footage, they could actually pause it and then bring it back in later afterwards. These are sort of really important aspects of communication. Being able to communicate in multiple languages would be a real benefit to VR. Now, how many people here have English as their first language? No, some people haven't, and unfortunately, I have to speak in English because I can't speak in any other language. But again, wouldn't it be really useful if there was an automatic translation, either in text-based that was, as I talk, I have some subtitles underneath me, or a speech bubble above my head, just up there, so that you'd actually be able to understand what it is that I'm saying. Again, if anyone here was deaf, they'd have no way of knowing what I'm talking about, because there's no visual version of any of the words that I'm speaking about actually coming up on screen. There could be a live dictation, so showing as a speech bubble, or it could be that even if it wasn't possible to do on the fly because it wasn't fast enough, having the environment replayable afterwards in the equivalent of a virtual video, a 3D video that you can actually walk around in, but with all the phraseologies, all the wording either translated or at least subtitled, would be really useful for a lot of people. Now, this is the other part of accessibility. We're talking about VR, and we're all in here because we are the converted, if you like. We are the people who already know how good virtual reality is, simply because we're all interested in virtual reality, or we wouldn't be here. And this in itself is possibly a problem. Is this truly the future of education? Is it truly the future of how we move about? Well, there's a film and a book. I recommend the book over the film, but that's what I would do for most things, called Ready Player One. I wouldn't recommend it as a dystopian future that we want to go into, shall we say, but certainly it is a good example of where we could end up in a virtual environment, especially if the real world becomes more and more horrific for people to live in. But is it truly the future? I mean, I believe as long as we made things more accessible, that being able to teach in virtual reality is a really useful activity. Being able to, say, have this entire lecture theatre filled up with students from across the world to all teach the same subject at the same time would be really beneficial. And I know I'm not the only one. There's a lot of educators out there at the moment who are saying that because of the changes that we're doing with communication with our technology, it won't be long before teachers are the equivalent of the rock stars of this world, where they're paid an awful lot of money if they're good at their job, to be able to teach and educate students from all over the world to the best of their ability, and to be able to give a high level of education to people who wouldn't necessarily be able to achieve it any other way. However, we are all in a bubble. If you're in a Twitter feed like I am, most of my Twitter feed has everybody really interested in virtual reality. This is mainly because the type of people that I follow, and therefore I'm in a bubble, and by looking at my feed, everybody in the world loves virtual reality. That must be true. Luckily, I'm nicely grounded by my partner, who hates virtual reality. She's not a technophobe, but she certainly doesn't like the fact that this is so intrusive, if you like, in becoming isolating. So I'm able to understand things from a bit of a different perspective and see, well, maybe sometimes the best answer for virtual reality isn't necessarily to wear a headset like this I'm doing now, but maybe a 2D environment. I said about it earlier, which generation likes it most. I was actually quite surprised that most of my students are not interested in virtual reality in the way that I thought they would be. Certainly I was more of a driving force into it than the students themselves. However, having said that, as soon as they start experiencing what they can do in virtual reality, things change. And I think for a lot of people, they are very, very limited in what they think virtual reality can actually do for them and what they feel the environment's actually like. And they're not aware of some of the advantages of virtual reality. However, with the younger generation that have grown up with Pokemon Go, virtual AR devices on their phones, etc., I think it's going to very much be that AR becomes their first environment rather than VR. And so VR will be a secondary environment to AR. Whether that's a good thing or not is a matter of opinion. Personally, I think any form of inclusion, any form of accessibility to help people in environments to be able to achieve what they need to achieve and do what they need to do is important rather than the technology that's being used. So, quick conclusion then. We need to get buy-in from the public for virtual reality, and the only way you can do that is to make it accessible for everybody. It doesn't matter how old you are, how young you are. It shouldn't mean that you have to wear a headset and be isolated from the environment around you. It shouldn't stop you from being able to use virtual environments and making things in such a way that you will actually be happy to be in the environment that you're in. There are a lot of positives to virtual reality, and the best way to get by is to show the positives it makes to their lives. When I first started my experiments in live streaming my lessons, I may have had one person, it all started with one person who was too ill to attend lessons for a short period. By the time last year, I had two members of the class who were on long-term sick, who were still able to attend every lecture. And both of them actually went to achieve distinction qualifications in their HNDs, which they would not have been able to pass at all if it hadn't been for the ability to show them, look, this sort of virtual communication is really important. We're currently in what's called the lead time for virtual reality. We're still at the start point of a graph of getting people to be interested. The Quest has been an amazing success this Christmas time. It was out of stock everywhere. They can't make them fast enough. And it's items like these, hardware like these, that I see as the future of virtual reality rather than having to attach it to clunky PCs. People today, especially young people, are not using PCs. They're using phones, they're using tablets. There's a company called Nreal who's just made a augmented reality set of glasses that work with Android phones that in less than 2 months now will be selling to the public for I think about £300 or $300. That's going to be a huge and massive part of the next generation, if you like, of virtual reality. But the most important thing I think we all want to make sure of is that this doesn't end up being yet another 3D TV. I never owned a 3D TV as much as I'm interested in technology. However, I'm really pleased that they existed because it means I've got a lot of 3D films now that I can watch on my Oculus Go. However, 3D isn't necessarily the answer for everybody, and we don't want 3D TV's legacy, if you like, to taint virtual reality and augmented reality. To make that happen, we need to be inclusive and we need things to be accessible. And that's it. So, any questions?
That's great. Thank you so much, Chris. That was a really interesting presentation. Can we just have some clapping emojis for Chris, please?
Thank you.
That was awesome. Fantastic. It's quite interesting that you were talking about that the first point that you felt you needed to do this was when you had a member of the class, a student, off sick. And it's quite interesting because I had that experience myself this year. And
Oh,
we
wow.
happened to be doing a virtual reality session. And consequently, I was able to include that student. And in fact, afterwards, they said how much that they'd enjoyed the session, even though they weren't there, and were really glad that they were able still to join. So this is a really powerful technology that we can use, and it is going to
It
allow
is.
for a greater level of inclusion rather.
I think you're right. There's another aspect to this actually with robotics. Originally, my idea was I've got a little Cosmo robot which has a camera built in. I wondered if there's any way that the student could actually integrate with class for robots. And I know there's a lot of other companies doing that same sort of idea, but these robots are astronomically expensive. I mean, you're talking £2,000-3,000 for a small robot that rolls around on a desk. That actually, in terms of hardware, isn't very expensive to build. Something like virtual reality is more inclusive and easier to actually run with than buying specialist equipment than anything else, which is why virtual reality I think works better than having robots. But as long as the people who are in that space, i.e. the people in the classroom, can still interact with that student and not isolate them as well.
Exactly, exactly. And I think your point you made about augmented reality being the next leader, if you like, I think you're absolutely right. And I think where we are with virtual reality now, I think another 18 months, that's where we're going to be with augmented reality. And it's going to be very
Fingers
interesting how
crossed.
those, yeah, it's very interesting how those technologies are going to mix and how that's going to have an impact on not just inclusion, but diversity and inclusion as well, and what the
Yes.
potential issues could be in relation to that. So fantastic, thank you so much. That was a great presentation.
Oh,
More clapping emojis, please, for Chris. That's awesome.
nice. Thank you.
Right, okay, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to turn on the ability for you to ask questions. Now, the way to do that is you should have now had pop up on your screen a raise hand emoji, well, emoji, a raise hand option, actually. And all you need to do is, if you want to ask a question, just press that raise hand option, and a little hand will come above your head, and then I can come and unmute you, because you're all still muted at the moment, and that way you can then ask your question. So if you want to ask Chris a question, please put your hand in the air, and then we can ask you, and then you can be unmuted so that you can ask your question. So would anyone like to ask a question to Chris, please? No questions at all? Okay, while people are thinking of a question, I was going to say, Chris, this is a fascinating subject. I think it's something that needs a lot more research. I think trying to define what we mean by inclusion and diversity, whether that be based on a physical issue or a mental issue or sexuality or gender, which is basically what the diversity and access track is all about. It's a very difficult thing to do. And I think it's very easy to be able to exclude people by accident and not necessarily think of every possibility. And that's incredibly difficult for hardware and software developers and for members of the public as well. What would you say about that?
Yeah, I mean, take for example, we're in alt space at the moment, and we've all got an avatar that we've made ourselves, and we've decided to style either on ourselves or on somebody else. It doesn't matter. We can style it however we like. However, as you may notice, all of the avatars still have all four limbs. All the avatars are able-bodied. There's no avatar that's in a wheelchair. There's no avatar where I could say, well, actually, I haven't got a left arm, so could I remove my left arm, please? Certainly some of those sorts of items would actually make things more inclusive, I think, for a lot of people that want to be able to express themselves exactly how they are. I've got a limited range of options for clothing, etc., but that could be actually a useful thing, because it means that you can end up with more of a uniform for a virtual reality and therefore not exclude people that there shouldn't be. Language, I still think, is a big issue. Having an equality in the diverse languages that people in this room probably are saying and speaking, having the ability maybe to translate automatically or have people translate would be useful. Similarly, as I said before, it'd be really useful to have some sort of speech bubble above my head as I'm speaking that would let people see what there is, or even sign language. Something like British Sign Language is very different to American Sign Language, but it could be that you could have a virtual avatar that is able to actually show what I'm saying in sign language without there having to be an actual physical person doing those sign language translations. So there's a lot of things with equality and diversity that we can standardise an experience such as this, but we need to make it in such a way that it's flexible for every person to be able to use and change how they perceive it, but without affecting other people.
Yeah, that's the key, that they can then change it to suit them. Yeah.
Exactly.
It's interesting, in a talk the other day, somebody was talking about the use of haptic technology to be able to allow for Braille to be used in virtual reality. Because with the haptic feedback, you can then feel the bumps. And I thought, actually, I hadn't thought about that, and I thought it was a very interesting, concept.
One of the places no worries. When I was doing virtual reality back in 2001, the most up-to-date virtual reality system was called Cave Environment. And it was very different to what we use now. It was basically 4 projectors that projected into a room, and you had a pair of 3D glasses that tracked where you were so that you could actually wander around this room and see things in 3D. While that was all really good, you obviously couldn't feel anything. So what they actually came up with was little air balloons that you could put in your hands on a series of gloves. It was very, very cumbersome. It didn't work very well. But as you came and approached an object, such as a wall or something like that, they would inflate so you could actually feel the physical object in 3D space. Now, if you are blind and you use, say, a white stick that you're sweeping across the floor to actually work out where you are, you could have actually used something like that in virtual reality and still experience the 3D virtual space without having to be able to see, with some sort of haptic technology in that way. So again, having that sort of inclusion, we focus very much on how things look in computing generally. And that does exclude quite a large proportion of people, especially, I mean, even virtual reality glasses with glasses wearers are very difficult. But as we're becoming an ageing society, the focus should actually be more on how we can include people in ways that doesn't necessarily affect their vision.
Okay, that's interesting. I mean, I think part of the thing that I would also think about, sorry, I keep teleporting everywhere. Part of the issue that I can see is we have limitations of bandwidth at the moment. So we all know that in the UK,
Yes.
for example, there are many areas that are still having problems accessing the internet at a half decent speed. So if we're now talking about using virtual reality on a larger scale with this level of diversity and integration, that's going to take more bandwidth. If we're already struggling trying to download a web page, how much more difficult is it going to be able to build these systems into a virtual reality environment?
Actually, it's going to be simpler than the video issues that we have at the moment. That's one of the big benefits of virtual reality. In 2003, I looked to create a new games console that I called the Revolution. It never went anywhere, and Sony stole the idea of the PlayStation Portable, so it gives you an idea of what it looked like. But one of the ideas of that I had was for things like football matches. Now, back then, we didn't have 3G, it was all 2G mobile. And the idea was that if you had all the characters from a football game, as in all the, like a 3D game, downloaded to the device that you've got, all you actually need to track is the location of all the people in the ball. And you could actually watch the game in 3D and move around that 3D environment as you wish for very, very low bandwidth. And it would be the same for something like this. At this very moment in time, the entire scene that we're sat in, this entire auditorium, has been downloaded to each of our computers. It isn't being streamed across the internet to each of us separately. All you're being given is a small amount of information about where each person stood, where their hands are, and unfortunately a large amount of information with the voice. But it's still much, I mean, this would actually work on a 3G environment rather than even 4G as a connection platform, whereas you certainly couldn't do that on, say, an iPlayer style video stream, which would require much higher bandwidth. So with a lot of careful thinking and careful preparation, you would actually be able to create a virtual environment which works for very low bandwidths.
That's interesting. All right, thank you very much. We do have a question from Holorus, so just unmute you there, Holorus. Just 1 second. Have you got yourself muted, Holorus? Because it's not allowing me to unmute you. Let me try. Right, if I do that, Holorus, are you able to hear me? No, okay, he's disappeared, so he won't be asking you a question then. I mean, as it happens, we're almost out of time anyway, but that was a fascinating presentation. Thank you so much, Chris. Can we give Chris clapping emojis, please? Thank you so much. That was great, and it actually highlights some really important issues that I don't think have been given enough consideration yet, so that was fantastic. Sure. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
Okay.
Can you hear me, Chris? Hello.
I can. Hello.
Okay, hello. Great presentation, by the way. I had some technical issues the first 10 minutes.
Oh, no worries.
I'm okay now. Okay.
That's good. Thank you.
Okay, just to let you know, folks, that this is the end of this session now, but coming up in just a few minutes' time, so in about 10 minutes' time, there are 2 sessions coming up. So one is under the medical and science track, and it's called VR for Elderly and Dementia by Suzanne Lee. And then in one of the other rooms we have a special event with Mark Christian, and he's going to be talking about mixed reality in classrooms near you. So both really interesting sessions. Please stick around for one of those, or jump into the other room if you want to go to the other session. But I'd like to thank you all very much for coming in today and listening to Chris, and fantastic presentation. Lots of heart and hand emojis, please. Thank you for Chris. That's great. Thank you so much, and have a great day, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
very
you,
much for
Chris.
attending. Thank you. Thank you.
Hello?
It's Coloros. I think he has access now.
Right, so I've
Yeah.
mute off now. Right, okay, Chris, that was fantastic. Thank you so much.
No worries. Thank you.
Really, really
Thank you for
enjoyable
letting me do this. Yeah.
presentation.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's
No
a
worries.
pleasure for us, and it's been great seeing you today.
Brilliant.
So thank you.
you.
I don't know if you can clear your presentation from the screen behind you, please.
Yes,
If you press like the home,
I can certainly do that. Yeah.
just so when the next people come in, they'll be coming in shortly.
Hopefully that should now. Yeah, there's no home button on mine, but I can put a blanket. 1 moment.
That's okay.
There we go.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much. Now, lucky
No
me,
worries
I've
at all.
got to run off for a dentist appointment now. So,
No
but I
worries at
will
all.
catch up with you. Yeah, I know. That filling, oh dear. But anyway, it's been great
Virtual
seeing
reality
you.
headset on, you'll be fine. Yeah. You will feel the
I
pain.
did take notes. I did take note of the pain. Yeah, I think I'm going to need some of that. But I'd like to
Yeah,
catch
no
up with you fairly soon, if that's okay. Just have a
Sure.
chat, because this is a
Yeah.
fascinating subject and something that I'm very much interested into as well. So,
Be useful to get together and certainly talk more on this. Yeah. Well, fantastic. Thank you ever so much again, and I shall speak to you
well,
soon.
thank
I
you.
guess. Thank
Absolutely.
you. Thank you
Thanks very much, Chris. See you soon.
Thanks.
Bye.
See you soon. Bye bye.
Thank you.
So I.
Hello.
Teleporting all over the place. Hi there.
Yeah, hello.
Yes. Hi there.
It was a great presentation. Yeah, great, really. Yeah.
Thank you.
My research has to do with autistic populations and virtual reality. So yeah,
As I said
yeah.
before, my stepson's actually autistic, which is and a lot of the tools and things that I create for accessibility are actually to do with autism related. They're all two-dimensional tools generally, but things like in V-College, you could change the background colour to yellow, and you could use different colour fonts on the foreground, even for anything that you were looking at on
Yeah.
the presentation, for example. And being
Yeah.
able to do that is much quicker and easier.
Yeah, I'd like to ask you, because I've also experienced the cave system and also the 2D VR. So from your experience, you think that the 2D VR seems to be more comfortable in terms of autistic children or young people compared to the VR headset?
Yeah, I mean, they prefer it because they're not then isolated from the real world, generally. There's that sense, a lot of people with autism, they need that sense of being comfortable in the environment they're in. They need to have routine and structure. And when you take them out of the world that they know into a different world, that can actually be a real detriment to how they see things. So having the ability to still see the world around them while they're actually experiencing virtual reality is really quite important for a lot of autistic people. My stepdaughter has Asperger's, and she's
Yeah.
tried a headset a few times, but she doesn't really like it very much. Whereas my stepson is absolutely happy to carry on playing Beat Saber or whatever it might be. But that's only because he's got used to that idea of being immersed in a computer game through many years of playing games.
Yeah.
I think 2D is much better for a lot of people.
Yeah, the thing is, what you say actually contradicts one of the beliefs that, autistic people need like a really safe environment, that have to feel like isolated in a way, because the headset actually exclude all physical like barriers, and you're in your own world. So you think that that autistic people need to have some... Hello?
Hello, you're back. Hiya.
Hello, yeah, I'm back. I just lost connection for a moment, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that there are researchers, because I've just done my literature review in terms of what works in terms of all immersive technologies in terms of autistic people. So I've written everything like back to 20 years now, all kinds of research in terms of if 2D VR has been used, mobile VR, 2D headsets the last 10 years, everything really. So yeah, I mean, there's this belief that they need to be like really isolated in that virtual environment on the headset.
I think with that, as long as they are comfortable, if they've had some sort of control themselves over what that environment looks like, so that they know that they feel safe in that environment, they know there's nothing's going to surprise them in any way, then that's they've been experiencing that. That makes them feel much more safe sometimes than other environments that they're in, such as
Yeah,
a clinical setting. But when it comes to their home environments, they're always going to be much more comfortable in their home environments than any virtual environment. So it depends, I think. A lot of the research will obviously have been done in clinical settings, not necessarily in their home environments. And I think they'd have got very different results if they actually saw these people in their home environments,
yeah.
going to virtual worlds, etc. Definitely.
Okay, yeah, that's really interesting. Yeah, yeah. It's because research with the headsets has not been scaled yet, as you know. Research like in the last 10 years. I mean, the maximum of
Looks like this page is running too many browsers. Full slides. Dit ding is niet. Nee. Virtual conference.
Hello?
Page we are engaged.
I see.
Hello? Hey
That's
guys.
Arch, okay. Okay, starting to come in. Okay.
Ben jij ben je erin?
Reset space.
Niet? Nou, ik zet het
Okay. Hello, hello, hello everyone. We got Hollow Russ here, Rainier, Arch, wonderful, thank you. You could make it. I'm hoping.
Hey guys.
Mark. Yeah, okay, fair
Yeah,
enough. Well
AM.
done. 1 o'clock. What about Rainier? How many events have you seen today? Need to maybe switch your microphones on. Somebody here has got a lot of feedback from no headphones.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear Rainier, but there's a lot of feedback. Let me see, I'm just going to mute all and then switch you free individually. Hang on. Okay, so you're all muted, and let me see if I can switch. I was trying to talk to, was it Mark then? So, no. Huh, can't switch that microphone free. Well, I'll unmute you all and we'll have a bit of feedback for now. I'm just going to try and see if I can get hold of Mark Christian, who's about to speak with us. Hopefully he'll be coming soon. Okay. One has been added to the space. Just checking. Hello? Is that Mark? Wonderful. Mark, you made it. Wonderful. How are you, my friend? Thank you. How are you getting on with your setup?
I'm getting there.
You're getting there. Okay, well, we can hear you. Can everybody hear Mark? Well, let me, have you switched your megaphone on? Bottom right should be a panel for host tools. And if you click on the host tools, you should see a megaphone. And then if you can give us a mic check.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Hello, give him some smileys if you can hear Mark, please. Yeah, we can hear you. Wonderful. Okay, Mark, can you check that you see the slides behind you, please?
Hello.
Yep. Yes, can hear you.
I do.
You do, and let me see if I move them. Can you see them move? So I'm moving now one. Can you see that? Do you see the slides move? Uh-huh. Oh, you're changing them as well. That's wonderful. That's great. Even better. If you like, Mark, I can change them for you, or you can change them yourself, as you prefer. If you want me to change them, I'll stand by the side here, and you say next slide, and I can do that.
Sorry, I'm not able to hear anyone.
You're not able to hear anyone? Right. Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I can't hear you. I hope you guys can hear me.
Right. Let me see if I have...
Yep. Does everyone see the slide?
There is nobody in the room. Huh? Okay. Yeah, we can see the slides. Mark, can you hear us? Oh. Ah, damn.
Okay. Right. Can you guys let me know if you can hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. No. He's not talking at the moment. 1 second, we'll get there. Please bear with us. Bit of patience. We're trying to figure this out. 1 second. So, let me see here. Oh.
I'm sorry, I can't hear anything you're saying other than just some scratching. I don't know that this is going to this is actually going to work.
All right, so here we go. So let me. me see. Let's. Okay. First of all, can everybody hear me? Can I have some emojis? If you can hear me. Wonderful.
Is some scratching. I just heard you there. Can you hear me now?
Much better. Can everybody hear Mark Christian? Keep talking, Mark, please. So a bunch of people can hear Mark. Can you keep talking? It's very, very, very sketchy, the audio link, I think, Mark. I'm not sure what we're going to do. We can see your avatar, we can pretty much hear you, but if you can't hear us, I'm not sure how that's going to work. You can change the slides and everything. Okay, right. If you don't mind, guys, also, I'm going to try and jump into the other room very briefly to help them reset their space. Can you please bear with me? A bit of patience, is that okay? I'll be back as soon as I can. Thank you so much. Okay. All right. Mark, if you can hear me, hi. If you can hear me, Mark, I'm going to jump out of this room and I will be right back. Just bear with me. Maybe, Mark, if you can try re-entering the space. So if you log out and log back in, that might help. Okay? Did you hear that? Okay, let me just send him a message. Okay. Try coming back in the space. I'm getting faster typing here in VR. Yes, I can hear you. Is that Mark? I heard you then. Right. I'm going to have to jump out, guys, and jump back in. I will be right back. Elderly and dementia care. I'll be right back.
Okay. How's that? Any better? Yeah.
There's nobody in the room. Huh?
Yeah. Apologies. I don't think this is gonna work.
Okay. Yeah. We can see the slide.
Yep, and I can.
Mark, can you hear it?
I can sort of hear you now.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. All right. Well, why don't if yeah, I think there's a massive lot like
He's not talking at the moment.
okay.
Please bear with us. A bit of patience. We're trying to
All right, Dan. I don't think this is going to work. It's just not.
So a bunch of people can hear much better.
Okay, so shall I progress then?
A bandwidth issue on your part because we can see your avatar, we can pretty much hear you, but if you can't hear us, I'm not sure how that's going to work. You can just lights and everything.
Okay. Well, I'll
Okay.
I'll go ahead and try to start then.
Okay, guys. So, Mark, can you hear me any better? Okay, so I can hear you a little bit, but
Please
the audio
bear
is
with
bad.
me. A bit of patience. Is that okay?
All right, here we go. So, let's see, Mark. I'm just texting Mark now.
As soon as I
can. The audio won't work. He's gone. Right, guys. It looks like of all the events we've had so far, I don't know if any of the other ones haven't worked. But Mark is running on interestingly, on a MacBook running a Windows emulator. And I think he's also away from his desk, which sadly means it's likely not to work for him just because I think what it is the bandwidth issue. What I'm going to suggest to Mark is that he maybe come back towards the end of the summit. Yeah, I know, it's unfortunate. I'm going to suggest to Mark that he maybe come back to the end, join us for the end of the summit. And if that doesn't work because he's away, then we will have him come back as a feature event after the summit and run a particular AR event with him. In the meantime, you're welcome to stay here for a few more minutes if miraculously it does work. Otherwise, there's a wonderful presentation happening in our other room at the moment concurrently. Have a look at that at the events program. Feel free to join that. Apologies that this one may not work. We're doing what we can. There's been an update to AltSpace as well, could be that. Thank you very much for your patience, guys. Hope you're enjoying the summit. Keep on rocking. And yeah, I think out of 150 events, if one or two don't work, we're still smiling, right? Thank you, guys. I'm gonna jump into the other event here. All right. Take care. Bye. All right. All right. One. Next daily classes. There we go. Enter.
It's actually kind of cool. You wanna see? Oh wait, can you see it on the laptop?
You don't have to come on closer to the phone. All right.
Hey, man.
You there? Where are you? Where'd you go?
Right there.
All right.
Okay.
That's crazy.
Um,
They're not crazy as in bad. That's like, I would love
Hi
to.
everyone. Sorry for the delay there. David's having a bit of microphone trouble still. He's going to restart. Apologies, I can't put my slides in presentation mode either. So it's going well this morning. I hope you're having a better start to your day. So I'm just going to introduce myself, and then hopefully David will miraculously appear right on cue when it's his turn to speak. And if not, we're just going to wing it. So my name's people in the crowd. It's good to see so many familiar faces as well. Thanks for coming along for your support. I write about VR at Suzanne showcasingvr.com just to help raise awareness. And sorry, I think David might have missed me. No, we're cool. And I'm also founder of Pivotal Reality. We try to help as many people in the community as we possibly can. It sounds all very grand, but I should let you know that I work full-time elsewhere and I have a family, and literally this is my passion and my side hustle, if you like. And what I specialise in with Pivotal Reality is VR for dementia. So I've been researching the industry and the market. I've put that knowledge into an academic book, which is the picture you see behind me, which is a kind of massive milestone for me, because I'm not from an academic background. I literally have just put in the hard work and the graft to do that, which is a big thing for me and my background anyway. So I'm proud of that. So today we want to talk about dementia, VR and elder care. And I don't see David. David de Jong is, he works at Patna. Oh, here he comes. Maybe a second off you. How's your mic, David? Oh no. I think we're still having issues. Okay, I'll carry on. So David works at Patna, and he's an innovation manager there, and they have 2,000 or so residents, and he's done tremendous work in the virtual reality space and augmented reality space for helping to train carers by developing experiences and using generic experiences to help carers understand what it's like to live with dementia literally putting people in the shoes of someone living with dementia to help enhance and better care for residents, which is phenomenal. It's a shame you can't speak. Hopefully he fixes it. So we'll carry on. So what I've been doing, I've been visiting care homes across Scotland, all over. I've been up in the Highlands, been on the East Coast and the West Coast. That's where I'm based. And what I do is I primarily use virtual reality to help people with their memories and to help take them places that they haven't been before, or perhaps visit places that they can no longer visit because of their health. And we use all sorts of different mediums to do that through 360 videos. Both David and I use 360 videos, virtual reality, low poly, realistic sorts of things, like Ocean Rift, for example. It's amazing to see a bunch of elderly residents experiencing being at the bottom of the ocean and having a laugh about that. So, David, are we okay? I don't think so. Okay. So stuff that that VR can be used for, it can be used across the spectrum, things like from diagnosing dementia symptoms, for example. There's an amazing research application if you are interested in this field called Sea Hero Quest, and it's a game that you can access through desktop or mobile or VR, and it gathers information based on where your eyes are looking, your choices that you make, and spatial navigation. You're in a boat, and they give you these quests to do, and your reactions are gathered. All that data is gathered and monitored, and it's amazing. They have something like 177 years worth of research already gathered just from people playing that game. And you don't have to actually have dementia yourself to play it. So it gives us data across genders, age spectrum, geographical location, all those sorts of things, which is really tremendous. An amazing use of virtual reality. And I think they started back in 2016, so that's only just over 4 years now that they've been going, and they've gathered that amount of data. As I said, it takes normal, traditional researchers 177 years to have gathered that. So if you are interested and want to take part and help contribute, maybe play your part, I recommend that. You can see them at seaheroquest.com. Other ways that VR is being used, aside from travelling and helping connect people with their memories, is helping family members. I have experienced going into VR apps back in the day when I had the Samsung Gear, and there was this really cool one about Alzheimer's, and it took you travelling through a brain. So you're inside a brain, and it explained all the scientific terms of what's happening to your neural pathways, and you can see all the kind of tartar, if you like, building up and blocking the paths. So this stops your memory recall and stops your ability to do everyday functionality. And if anybody doesn't actually know what dementia is, it's probably worth mentioning that. So dementia is a condition that it's got many symptoms, but the most common would be memory loss. It prevents your ability to think straight and recall information, and prevent you from doing everyday tasks. So it's really not nice. The reason why I'm in this space is because my own gran had dementia. She's not with us anymore, but it was really, I saw her and my daughter interacting together when my daughter was 4, and they were talking about an old school gramophone type music player. And my daughter just couldn't get it. She couldn't understand what my gran was talking about. And my poor gran was so frustrated, as if she knew what she was talking about. And I thought, how cool would it be to have a 3D model of that in the space, and they could talk about it, they could walk around it, they could play it, touch it, see how it works, press all the buttons and things, and that's where I thought, wow, I wonder if there's anything being used with virtual reality in this space. Because my background is I've been working 16 years in mobile and internet banking platforms, and I saw how they've grown. At the time we introduced mobile banking, there were skeptics amongst, the majority were skeptical, saying, well, why do we need a mobile banking app when we've already got internet banking? Who in their right mind would do their banking on their mobile phone? It's not secure, it's daft, what a silly idea. And here we are now, 2020, and it's the most used application for people's banking on the go. It's convenient, and I am a firm believer that virtual reality will be the platform of the future, and that's where I saw the pivot to future-proof my career, if you like, in virtual reality, and I pursued dementia as the reason why. So, such a shame, but David's still having technical difficulties with his microphone. He has so much information to share. I can't even do the slideshow for you, but his contact details, you'll see us on Twitter if you want to get in touch with him, and on LinkedIn. Make sure you give him a follow or get in touch, because he has so much information to share in terms of training and innovating in this space, because that's his job and he's good at it. So it's a shame he's not here to be able to speak. Yeah.
Can I ask a quick question? Can we try resetting the space very quickly just to see if that will help David with his microphone?
Yeah, absolutely, guys. Let's do that.
All right. Okay, everyone, if you don't mind just holding on to your seats, I'm going to reset the space. You'll go black. You'll come straight back in. Don't worry. Don't go anywhere, okay? We're going to try and see if this will help David's microphone. Hold on, please. Resetting 3, 2, 1. There we go.
Oh, I'm back.
You're back?
Yes, I am.
All right. David, any luck?
Please. Oh, no. Wait, what?
No. I think we've tried everything now. About the slides, Suzanne, did you publish them to web? Did you share them?
I might. Make sure your mic's plugged in.
You did? Because okay, let me try one more time.
If I was you, I'd try search.
Did you not see them? Were they not up on the screen for you?
They were, but I got a note that they weren't advancing.
Okay.
This is probably not going to work. You see the microphone? You see the way it says mic volume. You see if you can add it, and then see if that works.
There you go. Look at that. We've got slides as well. Okay. And we're able to advance them. Okay, that's better for now. Can everyone see the slides? Give me some hearts or emojis.
Oh, yeah, we can see it.
Fantastic. Okay. I can only apologize, David. I'm not sure where the issue lies. I'm frustrated for you. But if you watch the lovely Suzanne Lee, I'm sure she will do you proud. Yeah, let's we do our best to please and everything within the technical limitations, but I suppose it's also a bit a sign of the time of this technology that it is still very much the beginning. David, we'll keep trying in the background quietly, but Suzanne, we're going to let you just get on with your slideshow now. If there's any big development, we'll let you know, okay?
Okay, okay.
Thanks, Suzanne. Thank you.
Sorry, David. It's a shame.
I normally need.
Okay, so. Okay, so what am I going to say? So the research that I guess you probably want to know, well, that's great, you've got all these use cases and things, but what does it matter? What is the output? What is the meaning of that? And so far, David and I have both only just scratched the surface when it comes to training the carers and trying VR with residents. And I can tell you that I've been able to I'm sorry now, I'm getting technical difficulties. I think I'm about to bug out. I'll carry on talking. So I've been able to help people recall memories based on 360 videos. Can everybody still hear me okay?
Yep.
My vision's, I think I'm about to be kicked out of the room. So I took a lady to a beach on a 360 video, and she remembered being a Scottish beach when she was growing.
All right. I think I'm going to do some light entertainment here and try and distract from the... Who's doing light entertainment? That's very kind of you. All right. We're going to wait and hold until Suzanne comes back in. I'm sure it won't be long. We have Lucius. I'm going to switch your mic free and hear what you have to say. You're trying to get my attention here a little bit. Let me see. Lucius.
Yay!
All
Thank
right,
you, man.
Lucius. No problem.
Yeah,
What is it you want to say?
Oh, I just thought I could help you with the letting time pass. That's what I was doing before when David was having problems.
All right, thank you. I'm actually going to use this opportunity, if you don't mind, to
Sorry.
there you go. To make. Oh, Suzanne, are you back? You good?
I'm back. It's Friday the 13th. This is not cool.
Can we just give a lot of love? Actually, I'm just going to take a moment here. Can we give a lot of love, please, to all of our presenters who are being absolute professionals, and despite any technical hiccups, glitches, they're making the absolute best of anything they do. So, David, I know it's not perfect, but I just want to appreciate the fact we are all together doing our best. And a big, huge shout out to you, because I know sometimes you're waiting, you're trying to figure out, is this going to work or not? So thank you for your patience. Thank you for sticking with us. And I hope you're still having overall a brilliant experience. I know I am. So back over to you, Suzanne, as long as you can go.
Daniel. Okay.
All right.
So the highlights of research then is that I helped a lady, she went to a 360 video beach, and she was able to recall a memory of a holiday when she was a child, and she had forgotten about that memory, and her brother had since passed away as well. And it was that was the first time I used VR in the local community at a dementia local group, like a lunch group type thing where they play games. So that was really important for me to keep on this path. It gave me goosebumps. I couldn't believe that this powerful memory recollection came from just a simple YouTube video, a 360 beach, and that wasn't even designed correctly for dementia. It wasn't, it was just remarkable. And another lady in a care home, she was a professional figure skater, an ice skater. She did the dancing and things. And obviously, being an elderly lady, the thought, I imagine, if she asked the carers to go on the ice again to experience that, it's just not going to happen. But we were able to do that with her in VR, and her eyes were just lit up. The smile was massive. She thanked me and thanked me and thanked me for letting her relive that experience again. And it's just so you guys know, because you've been in VR, that you're immersed and the presence is there, and it's like you're experiencing that again, which is brilliant. Another really cool one that I'll talk about is when we used, I know that David has used the app Henry as well with the carers, and I used it with a resident, and the carers told me that the lady was quite withdrawn. She didn't really communicate with people in the care home, not even the other residents. She kept herself to herself, and even when she did communicate, she didn't communicate in full sentences. They were just kind of words and things. But when we tried the experience of Henry, which, if you don't know, is a kind of cartoon hedgehog, and it's his birthday, and his birthday wish is to have some friends, and it's a really good one for empathy and storytelling. I would recommend that if you haven't tried it. And this lady, while he was making his wish with his birthday cake, Happy Birthday's playing in the background, and with that song, she started to sing it out loud, the full song, and she was tapping her our thigh and kicking our leg in time with the music, kind of bobbing along. It's so amazing to see. It was outstanding. Even the carers had tears in their eyes, just couldn't believe this moment was happening with this lady. So although we are just scratching the surface, for those individual people, that's something they're going to remember. That's something that they appreciate and value. And I think that's really important, and that's why I'm going to keep doing this sort of thing. So when we talk about the future of immersive technology, I know that David is working on augmented reality. He's got a project on the go, because in care homes, we talk about accessibility, and as we know, VR headsets aren't very commonplace yet, whereas iPads are. A lot of residents and carers use iPads, so David's exploring that. As I said, get in touch with David if you would like to know more about his work in that area. And another thing that we share is a vision that in virtual reality, we see it as everybody's building their piece of the metaverse, if you like, and alt spaces. A fine example of that, we've got many people coming here today from all over the world to learn and share information and enjoy the experience and interact with one another as people. So that's what we do as humans, we connect. So what we're doing at Pivotal Reality is we've got a prototype of a Pivotal Island, which is a virtual reality space where we hopefully can see people having it as like the dementia hub. So you can have carers, education, academic, there's lecture halls there, and have it as a multi-user experience. So say, for example, a lady in Scotland has been diagnosed with dementia, her son's in Canada, her daughter's in Australia. Well, they can still come together as a family in VR, see the specialists, have a look at the apps that go into the brain, show me what dementia is, let me hear from somebody who has dementia, let me connect with fellow carers. You know, it could be an amazing space because, as you can imagine, with dementia not having a cure, that can be a scary time. And with geographical location barriers, it doesn't need to be something that prevents people sharing knowledge and speaking to people across the world. So that's kind of the vision that we have. And if anybody is interested in helping us achieve that massive that massive goal, then absolutely get in touch. I'm learning Unity myself to try and fill that shell, if you like, of Pivotal Island with some meaningful applications based on the observations and research that I've done. Things that you maybe don't realise, but things like spatial navigation and colours and things all matter when you're designing experiences specifically for elderly people and those living with dementia. So yeah, I think that's everything I have to say. I'm sorry I couldn't talk more about David's work. Please reach out to him and get in touch. There was also a live stream. We did a talk yesterday. Go check that out on the Educators in VR YouTube channel. And we'll tweet, no doubt, the link out. And yeah, thanks very much for putting up all the technical questions, issues. But if you have any questions, let us know. Thanks. Thanks, guys. Does anybody have any questions? Yeah, okay. Tim, you have a question?
Me?
Tim, did you put your hand up?
Okay.
Martin, you have a question.
All right. Who's got a question? I'll do that. Sorry, I just got a little bit distracted there. Real world interfering with the virtual world. I call that mixed realities. All right, who have we got? So yeah, the best way. Let me see if I can use. Hang on, participation. There we go. Allow raised hands. You should now be able to use the raised hand function, and if you have a question, please use that, and I can see who's got a question. Bottom right, there should be a raise hand button. Anyone with a question? 4 questions, Suzanne. There you go. So we're going to start with Martin, and his microphone should be. What happened there? Awaiting consent. You have to click. You have to free up your microphone, Martin. There you go. You should be able to ask now. Where's Martin? Give us some emojis or let us know where you are. There you go, Martin. You should be able to speak now, my friend. Not yet. Okay. Very quietly. No?
It's contagious. We've all caught the technical issues.
Try again, Mark. Try again, David. No way. This is strange. There's been a recent update to Altspace. I wonder if that's bugging things around. We'll try someone else in the meantime. If this is a global epidemic. Sorry. Let's try with Tim Cobalt. There you go, Tim. Try. Let us know. Give us some audio.
Okay. I'm here.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Tim.
Yeah.
Excellent. You haven't caught the bug yet.
Great.
Go.
Yeah, I was wondering, what's the app on Oculus Rift that lets you experience what it's like to have dementia?
There's a couple. I don't know their names off by heart, but if you go to search the library and key Alzheimer's or key dementia, you will have, I think the last time I checked, there was only 2 there, so they should come up for you. But I will tweet them out after this.
Yeah.
The names
I tried.
for you.
I downloaded the dementia app on Oculus Rift, and for me personally, it didn't work. I know actually that it's a local company here in North Wales that made it, so I was really excited to try it. Yeah, I hope they fix the bug, or it works for other people anyway. All right, thank you for that question. We'll come to the next question then. Let's try Hans one more time.
David's messaged me saying it's called Into Dementia, that one.
Aha, Into Dementia. Okay. David, try again now, my friend. Martin, sorry. Martin? Oh, I'm so sorry, Martin. Still can't hear you. We're going to go to the next person.
Martin, if you can message one of us and we can read it out.
Ah, yeah, you could message your question. That's right. In the meantime, we're going to go to Mohit Shah. Mohit Shah. Your microphone should be free now. Mohit, want to try? Where is Mohit? Do you want to wave your hand, anyone, or give us some attention? Where is Mohit?
Here we go, the front.
There. Seems like Mohit may have caught the bug as well. It's infectious. No. All right, and while we're waiting to see if that works, we also have Hans.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Oh, was that Mohit? Okay, Hans is free now. Hans, you want to try?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
I think so, yes, Hans.
Right.
Yes.
Well, we're based in Japan. We have a VR company, and we've been invited to take part in the opening of a new Opal People's Home here next month. And so we're making an application for that. And we're very curious. We want to develop this thing with them, but what kind of experience do you have? For instance, people with dementia, maybe they have anxiety and things like that. Maybe they're scared of certain things. You talked about the Hedgehog animated film. What is it called now? Anyway, yeah, I was thinking, could these kind of things be scary to some of these people, or would they become confused, or do you have an experience of what kind of experiences that they appreciate? Is that a general trend, or is it individual?
It's mostly individual, but there are some standard guidelines that I would recommend you to avoid. So you want to have the spaces as bright as possible, and you want to avoid the colour black color black.
Mm-hmm.
Apart from being like dark, if you have a black, oh my headset's going again. If you have a black space on the floor, it might look like a hole, and they'll be scared that they might fall into that. So yeah, I can tell you more details of things to watch out for and to include and be mindful of if you get in touch. But it really is based on a few standards, but also individually based.
Okay, thanks
Hope
a lot.
you can still hear me.
Yes.
Yep, we can hear you. Yep, all good. All right. Any more questions? I'm coming back. Gonna try Mohit one more time, just because I don't want to miss a good question here. Mohit, your mic is free from our side. Want to try it one more time? Okay, think that's not going to work. Sorry, Mohit, I'm going to bump you off the list here. Sorry, my friend. Sorry. And we have...
Question to me, but it's on the virtual keyboard.
Okay, going to try Martin one more time. Yeah, the other thing you can do is you can text your question. So if you click on the avatar on Suzanne's... Oh, is she gone? Suzanne jumped out? All right, I would say you can text your questions to me, but I can't answer them. Anyway, maybe Suzanne will come back in. While David, come up on the stage, or has David jumped out as well? David's here. Yeah, come up on the stage. And can we just give another round of appreciation and love for both the work that David and Suzanne are doing again. Here they are. Fantastic guys, just giving a lot of love for you. Thank you for your work. I'm so frustrated for you, David, and I think what we're going to do, David, we want to continue working with you after the conference, absolutely, because of the work you're doing. We'll have you back on, you know, we'll get all the tech sorted out before the event, and then we'll announce it. So you will have another opportunity for those of you who are interested. We're going to continue working on this project with you. Thank you so much for your work. Thank you for coming. Thank you for putting up with everything. And quick question. I know this was a repeat of another talk. Are you doing a third version of this, or is this the last one for the summit? It's the last one for the summit. Anyway, for those of you who didn't know this, they had given this presentation, I think yesterday. Was it yesterday, the day before? Yeah. Wonderful. Big round of applause. Big round of applause. Thank you very much. Thank you, guys. Wonderful. And let me see what we've got coming up. I'm just going to check in our event schedule here. One moment. Bear with me. All right. We have got coming up, where are we?
Yesterday's was live stream.
What time is it? There we go.
Can you hear me?
Hello.
Yeah.
We have Dr. Mark Holmes. Oh, blacking out. Yeah, we have Dr. Mark Holmes of Swansea University, and he is giving a talk on cognitive benefits available to VR learning. And we also have designing educational content in VR. So 2 more talks coming right up in a minute. Find them, if you will, in your menu. In the meantime, while you're doing that, a bit of a shout out, a couple of announcements. So as you know, this conference is fully free this time, but that doesn't mean there isn't a lot of effort and work going into it. And just to let you know, we have a GoFundMe page. If anybody's got a couple of spare bucks or really is passionate and believes about what we're doing, find the GoFundMe, 5, 10, 20 bucks. No contribution is too small or too big. It's not expected. We're just inviting you to help support this initiative. Another announcement that we are running throughout the conference is Summit Selfies. Some hashtag Summit Selfie. Please, from InWorld, send us your pictures by Twitter and take some pictures of your real world setup. So you in a headset in your office or at your desk or with your computer, and send them in. We're going to create a great big poster as a real representation of this virtual conference to kind of showcase how this technology can work. So hashtag Summit Selfie on Twitter, at EducatorsVR would be wonderful. Right, I'm going to move on now. Take your time, find the next event. I think actually the next event might be in here, if I'm not mistaken. So don't go anywhere.
Maybe an hour
Yeah.
Yeah.
Turn around. Turn around.
That's right. Yeah. So you can stay. Ah. Okay. You can stay in this event space for the next talk, or you can have a look at another event space. Thank you very much. I will check in shortly. Thank you.
Something for the last few years, kind of came on rapidly.
Ellen's a great one.
Yes, this is a good one. I got the beauty of you
Bizarre
too.
how it changes them so fast.
This is the best thing. It's the best thing, isn't it?
I don't feel sorry for present. It's like, here I am mucking around.
I know. Well, it's kind of, it has been a bit like that. A lot of people are just cruising around. This is actually, this has been the first time that they've had real problems. The ones went to this morning and this afternoon.
Oh, yeah.
Fine, everything went pretty good. But tonight it's been really bad.
Oh,
But this has been the busiest one too. But it's super cool. One of the women presenting earlier today, I follow on Twitter. The VR lady.
No way! Oh,
And she works in North America with Native Americans and language.
No.
Yeah. And she's going to have a whole classroom of kids coming, but it's at like a really unsociable time for us.
Thanks for coming along.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, that would
But,
be amazing.
I was really
Okay.
I feel like I've spent quite a few hours in this little lecture theatre now. I feel like it's my second home. If there was someone stopping the bar.
Oh. And that orange character guy just kept going back and forth.
I know. Back and forth. There's a bar downstairs, but there's no one in it.
Oh, we need it.
I know.
So tomorrow, in the whole event, so bring your headset and then, like, because there's going to be a lot of people.
Yeah.
And do this while we wait.
That's it.
I know it'd be good. It is amazing. I want to, and it was super fun when Rory, we were both in there too. But that's made us. It was good, but that's like what made us start really thinking about this experience. He wants to come in here with us and do a video piece about our reflections. Like, let's do a report. I know. How good is that?
That'd be awesome.
How good would that be? Yeah. So look at this place. It's like, I've got my seats on the second row in the middle. That's where I go and sit. I sit there with my knees crossed. It's hilarious. I know. I even keep wanting to put my arm out. Hey?
Hey, how's the headset? Like, I'm starting to get heavy now.
Yeah. I must admit, this afternoon I was in 2 consecutive sessions. I was in there for like an hour and a half. And I've got a bit of a headache now. Yeah, it's heavy. And so this is like my 4th hour today.
Hey, but just look at these four over here behind you in this one.
Okay.
All right. I know, and I just can't wait for the next generation when the headset's just like putting on just like a pair of sunglasses. It'll be that light, and you'll be able to see all around, and there won't be kind of the like fly screen effect.
Yeah. So I got Fiverr in the background.
Up on this little corner.
What you got?
Teleport in.
Everyone's watching Survivor on TV in the background.
Oh, I'm sitting in my pajamas. I'm sweating like you wouldn't believe. I've got 2 fans on me.
Oh,
hello.
I'm feeling you. Hey,
Did I come in for conversation at the wrong time there?
Sorry. We work together. Would you believe that Sarah's at her place, I'm at mine, and this is my 4th hour today in the conference, and the headset's getting a little heavy. Yeah. It's so nice. I turned around. So we're just catching up. I've got the fans on me. It's really, really hot. Mum, whereabouts are you? Yeah, it's really
very hot.
It's really, really sweaty. It's night. We just had a thunderstorm and it's really sweaty.
Oh.
Oh. Martin,
Wow.
you're Scottish. Are you in Scotland at the moment?
I am indeed, yes. I'm just sitting in my living room with the rain pouring outside.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, same here, except I'm sitting in like my underpants because it's so hot and it's sweating. Like, we had rain too. Yeah, you know what? That's right. You see, we have an avatar. You will never know. I was talking this morning. I was texting a friend who was in here with me yesterday, and I was explaining. We're talking about what it's like, and I was sort of just commenting like the avatars. We're all slim. We all have pants on. We're mostly white. We're all kind of the same age.
Yeah.
But I also said, which is interesting. But I also said it's like, you know, you can you bounce up people. And I'm thinking, oh, you can't even tell, no one can tell if I've got BO or not. And I was thinking, in VR, no one can smell you stink. That was my tagline. It's like there will be. I know. You heard it here first. But it is. It's true. And it's true. I look much neater in VR than I do in real life.
I know, I'm more presentable.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's very nicely clipped beard.
That's it. Just trimmed
Okay.
nicely just before I came.
Yeah. Hey, and so who was the red dude, Luscious? Was he just like a ring-in? Was he just someone who just...
He just came in.
He was hilarious.
Oh, that was good.
He was going to do some stand-up for us.
Something right now. I'll be right with you.
Oh, hilarious. Hey, Martin, do you want to get together for a selfie with Sarah and I?
Quick announcement. Sadly, Dr. Mark Holmes isn't going to be able to make his event today.
Okay.
But I have a presentation ready and loaded that I'm going to be giving at 12 o'clock. And if you don't mind, I will do it now for you, and maybe because you can't make it later on. So just bear with me. I'm just putting a tweet out to see if anybody wants to come and join us. In 2 minutes, we will be ready to start. And also, please feel free, while you're waiting on Twitter, shout about Minecraft VR for Education is about to start in a couple of minutes. If you can tweet for me, that would be wonderful, and we'll be starting for sure. Thank you.
Excellent.
Right.
Oh no, I got Greg, but I didn't get Sarah. I got Martin and
Daniel, can you hear me?
Oh, well.
Anyway, sorry, Sarah. I see her every day. So.
That's it. There you go.
I do. Oh, yeah. Ready?
I think I got one.
Oh, sorry, Greg. You're right behind me. Stay where you are, you pair. I just need to lean back. It's hard.
Okay.
Oh, Sarah, you had your head to the. We saw the back of your head. Face the front. Okay, ready? Yay! Got it!
Excellent.
Thanks, Martin. That was brilliant.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Right, ladies. I will do it.
You're off.
I
Okay.
am going to go
Bye.
and get some breakfast or something.
Breakfast?
Oh.
Yeah.
We're going to dinner time. Yeah, we're going to.
I'd like to
we got to watch The Bachelor.
Oh.
Okay.
Well, you know.
Daniel, can you hear me?
Right. Well, I'll
Okay.
get used to it.
We better go. Thank you. Cheers, Martin.
Bye.
Yeah. Take care.
Is there another session on there? Oh, no.
There must be back to back.
This session will be Minecraft VR for Education. Minecraft VR for Education.
Daniel, can you hear me?
Wow.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you very much.
We just finished
what else is there on?
And we'll get some tea.
An Evo TESOL session about Minecraft for educators, and if I find some of them online,
I think I'm going to have to go take the headset off
delighted to come
and relax in the real world.
Okay, that's gone out. There you go.
What's happened to you, Ellen? You're in the
Federico, his hand. And his hand.
in the background.
वो पूछ रहे मुझसे क्या हुआ बोल मैं उसको हार्ट सिंबल लिखूं क्या कर रही हूँ मैं
schedule on Altspace.
So let's have a look here. Making sure I can do the slides. The slides working. Okay. There we go. Might have to reset the. There we go. Wonderful. Good to go. Okay. Microphone on. Wonderful. Here we go. So there's been a slight change of program, everybody. Thank you for bearing with us. Just to explain a little bit, there's been a recent update to Altspace, and sometimes that means that we have a couple of glitches to iron out. They're working furiously in the background to sort that out. With regards to this event now, you may have been expecting Dr. Mark Holmes, and he's had some sad news. He won't be joining us today. He's okay, but he just can't make it. So I will be giving a presentation at 12 o'clock UK time today, which is kind of ready. So I thought rather than leave a slot free, I would give the same presentation again now as a practice run, and maybe because you can't make it later, you can see it now. We have Floody17 here. Hi, Ollie boy. How you doing? Could you do me a favor, though, because waving around like this while people are talking is a little bit distracting. So if you don't mind, just thank you very much. I really appreciate it. So let me see. Give me some smileys if you're in Europe. Anybody here from Europe? Anybody here from Europe? We have Federico. Lovely. Yes, it's a nice time zone for you. That's wonderful. Oh, Federico's not from, sorry, I got that wrong. Anybody here from South America? Anybody here from South America? Nobody? I'm coming to America last. Anybody here from the Asia Pacific area? Asia Pacific, lovely. Yes, Annie VR Escape. Yes, you found me, I think, on LinkedIn. Happy to chat with you a bit later. Lovely. Anybody here from Australia, New Zealand, Middle East? Yes, somebody over there. Lovely. Anybody here? Wonderful. Olive Tree Lighthouse. Okay. Anybody here from the US? It's very late where you are. You should be in bed. Who's here? Anybody? No? Good. Oh, right at the back. Somebody's up late. All right. So, going to tell you a little bit about this project I have been running. The name of the event, the project is called LearnCraft VR. LearnCraft VR. It's not an official thing. It's not an app. It's not anything. It's something that my son and I came up with, and I want to tell you a little bit about it because we think it's quite exciting. In order to kind of give you a bit of background how this project came about, we have been running events in Altspace for about 15 months now, but it's not. We're not particularly limited to Altspace. We're very, very keen to give presentations on many different platforms and discover and explore what the relative strengths or what the differences are between, for example, Engage and Rumi and Mozilla Hubs and Somnium Space. And there are more different platforms coming, of course, especially Facebook Horizon, or Oculus Horizons, I should be saying. Everybody's kind of waiting to see what becomes of that, and I'm sure it'll be a game changer in some way. But we were talking about building schools in all these different platforms. We have a school here on Altspace. We have our Educators in VR college. You can come and visit after the conference. And I was talking about this with my son Ziggy. And you can see him on the left here. That's my son, and that's him in Minecraft. That's him in my garage. And my wife overheard us talking. Ziggy's a big Minecraft fan, and he builds all kinds of things. And my wife heard us talking about educators of VR on the road, and she said, Ziggy, you should build a school in Minecraft. And he loved that idea. So he got working, and that was really cool. But of course, that's in 2D, and it's a very different experience. Minecraft, I love Minecraft, but it's a very different experience when you do anything in 2D or you come in. But the very same week he started discovering or building this school in Minecraft, I discovered that actually you can get into Minecraft. There is Minecraft VR. They have Minecraft VR, but they also have Vivecraft, and Vivecraft is amazing. I think it's like an open source free project. People, enthusiasts are building this thing, and it's really very compatible with servers, single player, multiplayer. So I downloaded this, and as you can see here on the right, Ziggy got into Minecraft, and he was standing inside his project. He could not believe it. It completely blew his socks off. And so we dreamt up this project where we alternated between 2D and VR, and together we built a school. And we built a whole big school with different rooms. He had the headmaster's office in it, and we had a park, we had a running track. It was absolutely amazing. And it was just a lot of fun. We didn't think of doing anything with it. And then I thought, hold on, actually, let's as an educator, I want to explore, is this viably possible to kind of share with other educators around the world who might have Minecraft and might have VR? So I developed a bit of a project around exploring how ready is this to share. And yeah, I'm going to share a couple of results with you today because I'm really, really excited about it. It's actually fairly possible to do this without too much hassle. And so, yeah, we spent weeks building this project together and exploring it together. Yeah, it's remarkable to see how my son really just completely got caught up in this build. And it was a lovely experience for us. It was very bonding. So not only was it a great project for educators of VR, my son, but actually we bonded in a way that we haven't bonded doing anything else. There's something about collaborating in the real world with your son or your father. You just can't make that happen anywhere else. It was crazy. One of the reasons I'm so excited about this project is because in VR, I mean, Altspace has probably some of the most users of any VR platform that I know at the moment, social VR platform that I know. High Fidelity was doing really, really well, but I think they've gone more in the direction of corporate and enterprise. But if you look at the figures here, I mean, you can see Minecraft is the 4th most played game in the world, and that's the monthly players you can see here. 112 million monthly players are playing Minecraft around the world. Now, that's a huge user base. And of course, Minecraft is spatial already. And you can see just under Minecraft there is Roblox, has 100 million monthly players, and this was as of September 2019. So these two spatial platforms, the gaming platforms, they have a huge number of people playing. And we're going to be hearing a talk later on this week about, or today possibly even, about how Roblox VR is being used as well. I don't know how it's being used in education, but these platforms are starting to become available for VR. And when you're talking about 112 and 100 million kids a month playing Minecraft, that's huge for VR. And if you don't already know also, Minecraft actually has an official Minecraft Educators Edition, which you can download if you're associated with a college or a school, and it gives you the tools to run Minecraft on an educational, like a closed environment. You can bring your students in. They're doing amazing work there. And actually, I got in touch with the head of Minecraft education, told her about this project I'm running on, LearnCraftVR, and they're very interested to speak to us, to me and my son, about what we're doing, with a view to maybe integrating this into Minecraft Education Edition. I mean, it's early days. We'll see what comes. We'll keep you posted. but the potential is huge. So yeah, this is just a picture of the gameplay we had. But I'm gonna run. Did you see that video play? Was it playing for you just then? Can you give me some hearts if it auto played for you? Yes, it auto played for somebody. For some of you, auto played. Okay, so this is well. Before I play this video, let me just explain. We spent weeks building this beautiful, beautiful school, and yeah, we were ready to take a video of it 2 days ago for this presentation, and we were all excited, getting all geared up with VR and everything, got OBS ready to stream, and then Ziggy, well, we had a glitch, and essentially it meant that all of our work, completely everything, was lost irretrievably, and the school was gone. Our whole project was gone, which was absolutely devastating, and we both cried about it because we really put our blood, sweat, and tears into it. However, we didn't give up and kind of admit defeat. We picked ourselves up, and Ziggy, you'll see now in this video, he started a whole new build, and he got suddenly really excited about this new build. So we created a little video to kind of showcase this new build, but also what the platform can do. So I'm going to play it for you now, and this is the second version of LearnCraft. Please enjoy, and see you in a couple of minutes after the video. There you go.
Do you know how to Minecraft? Yes or no?
Well, I think I do, sir, but listen, do you hear that? Can you smell that? I smell smoke. Can we go and check it out, sir? Makes me nervous. Oh my God, our school is burning. Ziggy, quickly, we need to evacuate, evacuate. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Oh my God. What? What? Oh, escape route. Excellent. Okay, let's go. But Ziggy, our school is burning down. Quick.
Come.
Our school is burning down. Come where? Where am I going?
Where are you?
I'm down by the fire. Where are you going? I think it's not playing for most of you. I apologize for that.
But
Can you give me hearts if it's playing for anybody?
Our beautiful school we
Is
built.
anybody seeing this?
Our
Yes, some of you
school
are.
that we built. Fly
Okay,
up.
cool.
If you say so.
Thank
Our
you.
beautiful school is burning. What are you doing?
And can you
What's
hear it
this?
as well?
What's this?
Thank you. Okay.
One you built earlier? Oh my God. That's so cool. A school in the sky. You've made a whole floor plan. That's cool. Gonna take a while to build it up, though.
Not really.
What do you mean? It would be cool if this was a real castle and we could turn it into a school. What happened? Do that again. What? 2 more times. Dude, that was magic. We have a school. Can I break some doors into it?
Sure.
Awesome. Wow. Boom, 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 boom. Let's go explore our new school. Wow. Bit of a labyrinth.
Unless you want.
But these could be classrooms. Oh my God, this is so cool.
Oh yeah. Also.
Yeah?
I could make a printout map.
Make a printout map. I'm gonna put another door here, going through to this part. Can this be my room?
Sure.
Oh, I love it. I love it. This is amazing. So we have a completely new school, and what is this? Is this Stonehenge?
Yeah.
This is Stonehenge. That's so cool. Did you build those trees?
Yeah.
We can have a whole forest. We could build a tree hut. I'm gonna go check out the old school. Old school. There you go. It's burning. That's beautiful. And up here's our new school. We can build in the sky. I love it, Zig. Excellent.
All right, there you go. So please give it up for my son's build there. I'm sorry if you weren't able to see the video. I apologize for that. But as you can see there, that's me and my son collaborating in Minecraft. And I'm in VR and he's on his 2D laptop. You could do this in a classroom. Imagine how engaged students might be. You could run different projects as an educator. You could assign homework and then they could get inside their Minecraft projects. That's the kind of things I have in mind here. So just going to move on to the next slide. I want to talk a little bit about this project in terms of what already works. And like I just said, one of the things that is definitely has huge potential for this project is that it is hugely engaging. I mean, I haven't seen my son that psyched and motivated about creating something ever. I think he loves Minecraft already. The fact that his dad is excited about it and he might be using it in school, that other kids could get inside his school, that he could put his teacher inside his school would be wonderful. And it doesn't have to be a school, of course. It could be a hotel or a stadium. You know, we have the Welsh or the Rugby World Cup, which is a Six Nations tournament, or the Six Nations in the World Cup, and it was in Japan. So we're in Wales, and Wales has the national sport is rugby. So Ziggy's school, they said, we're going to run a project, and you have to design a stadium in Minecraft. And so they did that, but now they could get inside their stadium, which would be take it to a whole nother level. The other aspect of what works really well is the VR. Vivecraft VR is running very, very stably to make this project work. So it's not kind of something that is a bit sketchy. It's super stable. The only thing I would say is Vivecraft VR at the moment is only available on PC VR. There is a version of Minecraft VR that works for the Oculus Quest. You need to use an Xbox controller with it at the moment, which is okay, no problem. But I don't think at the moment you can join other servers. So there are some limitations there. But like I said, we're speaking to Minecraft Education about this to see if they like it enough. Maybe they might be developing it a little bit to bring it into classrooms. Another aspect that works really well is the fact that you don't have to be in VR and you can collaborate with people in 2D and VR. So if you only have one VR headset in the classroom, other students could be on the laptop. One kid could, you could swap kids in and out of the VR headset. Everybody could get a taste of it. The teacher can go in as well. So that's great functionality already. The interaction in Minecraft, I have to tell you, I mean, you know VR, what it's like when you're interacting with different people and different platforms. But Minecraft VR is amazing. In terms of building worlds, you're just boom, 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 there's a tree, boom, 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 there's a wall, boom, 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 there's a house, it's fast, and you can break it just as fast. And you can also just blow stuff up. You have TNT. I don't condone using explosives, but it's a bit of fun, I have to say. The other thing, definitely, the immersive learning experience. My son went in and out of VR for this project, and the memory he has of his experiences there, the experience he had of being inside his school, nothing can replace that. That immersive learning experience is just on another level. Taking Minecraft, which is already super powerful, and putting kids inside their creations, I cannot tell you how excited I am about this project. And finally, of course, the collaboration. You can get, so I should explain that this particular build that you saw here in the video, hi there, I think you jumped up on stage, that's cool. This particular build was running on a server that my son set up. There's a free server called Aternos. He's 11 years old, so my son set up his own server on the Aternos server provision. It's free, and that allows up to 10 players to join. So that's a nice little class, so you can open it up. And I'll be sharing the address of our Minecraft server there at the end of the presentation. If anybody's interested, you can shoot us an email and we will whitelist you on that server. You can come and collaborate once the server's running. All right, so a little bit about the potential for this. Now, I see absolutely tremendous potential for this, just purely based on the fact that Minecraft is huge, 112 million monthly users, most of which, to be honest, are going to be this new generation of spatial learners. You have remote collaborative learning. You have the Minecraft Educators Edition already, and all we need to do is take the user base, Minecraft Education Edition, and plug it into VR. Imagine 112 million kids being able to play Minecraft VR. and being able to bring that into classrooms. I mean, that's just tremendous potential. You can use this to create assignments. So that's already being used for Minecraft educators. The teachers would say, all right, I want you to go home and I want you to do this maths assignment in Minecraft, because you have to count and you have to calculate and you have to build exactly these specifications. Or you could have an engineering project where they have to build a bridge in Minecraft and they can discuss it together. The educator then can go back in and assess that build if they have access to it. You can run art projects, design projects, engineering, maths. You can even run languages, why not? Like you could in Altspace. So I'm really super excited about the potential of this project. Of course, there are some things that aren't quite working yet. I don't know if you noticed when you watched the video, if you heard it at all, the Ziggy's voice there was quite quiet in the background, and that was simply due to the fact that my OBS was capturing, well, actually due to the fact that there's no in-world voice chat. Minecraft doesn't have voice chat, and there may be a very good reason for this. I think it might have to do with kind of privacy and child protection safety. They have a text chat in Minecraft, which seems to work really well, but they don't have voice chat. I wonder whether that is something that Minecraft Education might be able to switch on for the educators project. Usually with the educators project, all the kids are in the same room, right? And then you don't really need in-world voice chat. But if you're going to switch this on for VR on a server where kids can join different kids from around the world could collaborate remotely on a educational project in VR, you would need, I would say, you would need in-world voice chat. I think also there's some limitations with Vivecraft in that you cannot access all Minecraft platforms. So there is a Java version, there's a Windows 10 version, and there's something called the Bedrock version. And mostly these play really well together with each other, but at the moment there are some limitations. But that's, I would say that's minor. Of course, at the moment, this Minecraft VR project doesn't have the education tools associated with Minecraft Education Edition, but I hope to have that conversation with them and see if that's something we could do. And at the moment, the project that you saw here with my son Ziggy, it's not kind of smooth out of the box yet. It's very rough, very prototype, but super exciting. So we would want that to be, before that gets rolled out to educators around the world. Obviously, that would have to be very, very smooth experience for the kids, for the educators, and for the education, the institutions involved. Other considerations about this, of course, before this gets used effectively, you would need to train educators. It's the same for VR in general. The biggest bottleneck I see for VR for education at the moment is having trained trainers. So that's actually something we're developing as we speak, a certified training program for VR education and educators. Keep a lookout for that. It should be coming sometime this year. Exposure time, you wouldn't want your kids, like with any VR, you wouldn't want your kids to be in Minecraft for too long. That kind of is common sense. Managing servers, yeah, we ran this on the Eternus server. It works really well, but many educators probably want as few hurdles as possible in order to make this run. If we could avoid having to manage servers on top of everything else, that would be great. Privacy is always a common question. We'd have to talk to Minecraft Education about that. And my big call out, shout out, please, if we could get backing from Minecraft Education with this project to see how we could roll this out and bring this to more educators around the world, that would be absolutely huge. So I think a couple of ideas that you could run with this kind of project. Anything that is already running on Minecraft Educators Edition. I'm thinking especially projects you can run where students take the lead. Students are spatial learners. A lot of students love Minecraft already. Don't get in the way. Say, build me something and let them go and do their thing, maybe with a couple of restraints like you can't do no harm, you can't break stuff, you can't be violent, but go and build this. Design your dream school. I mean, that's the easiest thing in the world to do. Say to a class of kids, hey, over the next week, I want you to build your dream school in Minecraft. and they will get to work, stand back, go get a coffee, have a break, take a holiday. You'll come back and have the most amazing schools in Minecraft. Of course, then you can get into VR, and that would be amazing. The other one, of course, is educator inspired. You can come up with projects where you have a problem in Minecraft, you have to solve it. You have a brief in Minecraft, you have to create it, build a bridge. And the other one is collaborative. So at the moment, I think the way Minecraft education is being used is mostly within a single classroom, which of course is cool. You need that kind of control and protection. But here at Educators in VR, we are all about connecting classrooms, bringing a network of classrooms together in VR so we can collaborate. And to that end, we're building something called the Borderless Classroom Network. And through that, I'm hoping that we could get Minecraft to be available, or this Minecraft VR project to be available, where schools across the globe, a couple of learners, could join and collaborate. Wouldn't that be amazing if there was a kid from Kyoto, a kid from Mexico, a kid from Johannesburg, a kid from the bush somewhere, a kid from Iceland, and they're all joining in Minecraft VR, Educators Edition, to build amazing projects. We could even have an exhibition of these projects at an international festival of VR creation, students in VR. That would be amazing. So that's my dream come true. If we could collaborate on these projects across the globe, that would be amazing. Right, and I just want to say thank you from Ziggy and me. This is us working together. I've rarely had so much fun with my son running this project, and he's really proud that his project is being presented at an international conference. Like I said, I'm going to be running this again at 12 o'clock. Really appreciate you listening to me talk about this in the space of Dr. Mark Holmes, who, like I said, sadly couldn't make it. And yeah, I want to ask if anybody has any questions for this project. I'm happy to take them now. I think, is Olive Tree still here? Olive Tree. Right, there's the raise hand question button bottom right. That's what you can use to ask questions. Yes, I think Olive Tree is ready to ask a question. Here we go. Your microphone should be free there. Olive Tree, do you want to ask your question now?
Yes, hello.
Hi.
It's a question and a comment. I've been involved with Minecraft as a player, as an educator for the last 5 years.
Yes.
But of course without the VR.
Yes.
On a Java version.
Right.
One piece of information is that the different
Please.
versions do not play well together. If you have one version, you cannot actually log in to the other.
Right.
So if anybody is interested, you have to be very careful which version you're buying the license for, because you cannot jump on any other.
Thank you very much for pointing that out. Yes.
You're welcome. The other, the question is, what is the main difference between the collaboration, the building, being inside their builds across the globe in a normal Minecraft, whatever the version is, and being in a VR?
So what's the difference in the experience of collaborating in VR versus in 2D? Okay. It's similar to being in 2D, say in Altspace, and being in Altspace in VR. I mean, when you build in Minecraft and you build a block in 2D, it's great, it's there and you're building something. When you build it in Minecraft in VR and you're seeing that block in front of you, suddenly that building is boom, it's huge, right? You're standing in front of your building, and if you build a high rise, that's right there. Or you build a tree and you're in the shade of the tree. It's like you are standing in the shade of a tree. It's like essentially like you're God. And if you fall off the side of the platform, you feel like you're dropping and you're falling. It's a visceral, emotional, direct experience, as opposed to a very engaging but 2D experience that's removed on your computer in front of you. It's much more impactful. That's my experience anyway.
Okay.
All right.
I guess it may be augmented because I mean, anyone who's been in virtual worlds and Minecraft will tell you that you actually feel that you're there, and you don't like anybody bumping into you. Or
Absolutely.
You have your own space and so on. But thank you very much. This has been a great presentation.
Thank you very much. My pleasure. My pleasure. So we got another question here. Freddles wants to ask a question. Your microphone should be free in just a moment. Okay, Freddles, where are you? Give us, there you are, Freddles. Hi, please.
Hi, I'm just wondering, when will it become available?
I can see you're keen already. Freddles, I really don't have an answer for that because we have somebody in the back. I don't have an answer for that, sadly, because this is very much only a project happening in my garage with my son. We're trying to set up a conversation with Minecraft Education. Even if we had that conversation, doesn't mean that they're actually going to roll it out. So this is just something that I'm wanting to share with the community as something that's kind of possible off your own back. If it did become available, of course, I would be hugely pleased about it. But I really don't have an answer about whether, I don't have an answer when, or even if this will become widely available. If you want to get involved with this, the first place to go is MinecraftVR, but you need PC VR to play it. Or you can try MinecraftVR, which you can download. I'm not sure if it's available on the Quest Store. You can sideload it, I think. There's ways of doing it. You can do a bit of research. So there's no direct news about a release date for this at all. This is just my own project, and I'm hoping to get attention and maybe some development on it. That's all I can say at the moment.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Any other questions? Yeah, you're welcome. Any other questions? If you have questions, please use the raise hand button, bottom right. If not, no problem. No problem at all. Okay, well, I think we have plenty of time left, and I kind of jumped in on Dr. Mark Holmes's presentation because he couldn't make it. Any general questions from the about anything to do with this conference, with VR, with education? Any general comments? How about just comments? Let's have a chat. Let's just have a chat. If you want to chat about anything at all, raise your hand. Here we go. We got somebody coming in. Olive Tree. Microphone in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yes, Olive Tree.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, yesterday was my first time in outspace, and
Right.
just now during your presentation, I realized that I'm not seeing the screen. I can't see the screens. I can't see the videos. Would you be able to help with that, or at least direct me to where I can get help?
Absolutely. So you didn't see this at all now?
No, not at all.
Okay, right. Let me see. I can reset the space. Let me see. I'm going to quickly reset the space. Everybody's going to jump out quickly and jump back in. We'll be back in just a moment.
Okay.
Okay, people coming back in slowly. There you go. Everybody except Olive Tree. Might take a while. Okay, and I might need to reset the, okay, 1 minute. Let me see if I can, Now nobody's seeing the screens, right? Anybody seeing the screens?
Nope,
No?
the screen.
All right, no problem. Let me reset that just a moment. Let me see.
I can maybe help.
Okay. I can also reset the browser. Any luck there? No. Let me see if I can then bring that up. Okay. Let me see. Delete. Okay. bit.ly/. LearnCraft 1. Try that. There you go. All right.
I don't know about other people, but when you first reset the screen, I could see it before and after, but then when you tried to fix it, it disappeared. So I don't know if
Yeah, I think that's what happened. Well, I mean, we're lucky. We're lucky that I got to give the presentation before I reset the space. I didn't realize that. Olive Tree, now nobody's seeing the screens. At least you're not alone. I apologize for that. I'll be running it again at 12 o'clock. Maybe you have more luck. What you can do sometimes, Olive Tree, if you're having issues, is to re-enter the space. Or you can, you know, completely shut down your device and come back in. It's awkward, but it does sometimes help and work. That's all I can recommend at the moment. I'm sorry.
Thank you very much.
Okay, my pleasure. Has anybody else got any questions or comments about the conference, the summit, VR? Yes, I think Shananor. How am I saying this? How would you like me to pronounce that?
Sirian.
Sirian.
Sirian
Will you let me try and boost your microphone here? 1 second. There we go. Megaphone. Okay, you have to accept the request for your microphone.
How long are you going to use it for?
Yeah.
Okay, yes. Do you have a comment?
Just on the last issue here, I was on yesterday on a session, and then I had problems with looking up at the screen, and I chatted with Tim, and he had some suggestions, and then after all, I had to just go out of alt space and
come back
in again. Yeah,
yes.
And that helped.
Yes.
It didn't help just go out of the session and back again.
Thank you very much. Did you hear that, Olive
Yeah.
Tree? Leave alt space and come back in. That sometimes can help fix things. Okay. All right. Well, let me see. We have a bit of time left. Here's something I wanted to ask you. Anybody got a nice story they want to share? Oh, was that Annie? Do you wanted to ask a question there? I can. Yes. 1 second. I'm just going to switch your microphone on. 1 second. I think you are also getting some feedback. All right. Actually, wait. Let me mute all. That should kill the feedback. There you go. And then let me. Where is Annie? And I can switch your megaphone on. Annie, you'll have to accept consent for your megaphone. That's you giving feedback. Can you put some headphones in, Annie? The audio feedback often comes from somebody maybe on a Quest or a Go without headphones, because kind of the microphone loops into the speakers and so on. Okay. Not sure. All right, we have somebody at the back. Zappius, are you wanting to ask a question? Let me switch your microphone on. Where is Zappius? Zappius megaphone. Yep, you hear me? Hi there.
I've been really enjoying the conference. I'm a little bit older, so I'm around people that have dementia, and I'm probably going to be there myself.
Aren't we all?
Yeah. I don't know if this is a silly question or not, but I don't know. Do you know why the headsets are helping people with dementia? Is it just making them think about their memories, or? And then the next part of my question would be, do you think using it now is going to prevent dementia? Probably not.
Okay. Well, I am not I don't know is the answer. I haven't used it myself in dementia. I'm not an expert in any way. I've heard of other people using it, and from what I've heard, it seems to be so interesting for the people experiencing it, because it's an experience. They're having an experience that they couldn't otherwise have. I mean, that's the power of VR, right? You can feel immersed in a situation that wouldn't otherwise be possible. So I imagine that is part of why the results coming back from the practitioners are so promising with regards to it preventing any dementia. I find it hard to imagine. I would love that to be the case. I would love that to be the case. I don't know that anything will ever really cure or stop or reverse dementia. It would be wonderful. Wouldn't that be wonderful?
Yeah.
We can only hope. Yeah, let's hope for a miracle. That's all I can say. Okay, anyone else? Thank you for that comment as well. I wanted to ask, anybody got any nice stories they want to tell, or any nice moments for the conference? Anything happened where you thought, wow, that was cool, really enjoyed that, or I wasn't expecting that, or that was weird? Anybody want to share an experience of this summit so far? Oh, just a little snippet of something that was interesting.
Do you mean just this conference or any of
Yeah,
the
yeah,
conferences?
or this VR conference, or anything you've learned in VR, any learning experience in VR you want to share with us that has really stuck with you, you know? Okay, we got Annie here. Let's try Annie's again, because she was having a bit of feedback there. Annie, coming to you now. Let's try your megaphone again. Right, want to try that?
Yes, hello, is it better?
Yeah, much better, Annie. Hi, thank you.
Excellent. I've got the headphones on now, so
Wonderful,
thank you so
well
much,
done.
Daniel. Yeah,
Okay.
look, I found the educators in VR through LinkedIn. So this is the first time I've actually discovered AltSpace and
Wonderful.
this virtual world. So I just wanted to share that and absolutely loving it. So can't wait to sort of look around and discover more.
Wonderful.
Learn from
Thank you so
everyone.
much. Thank you very much for that. Excellent. Okay. Anyone else want to share anything? Yes, okay. Who have we got over here? We got CJ. Switching your mic on now, CJ. Bear with me. Okay, if you can accept that.
Yeah.
CJ, what do you want to say?
Do you hear me?
Yes?
Yeah, I just wanted to say I kind of appreciate this conference. My parents are retired in Ohio in a retirement community, and I received the Go for a Christmas present and wanted to let them know about all the different things you can do with it. Attached to their retirement community is also a care community, which is for people with dementia and sort of declining elderly people. So my mother, who's a psychologist, was thinking about how could I introduce the Go to these people who, you know, are lacking mobility or suffering from dementia. How could I bring
Wonderful.
the Go to them? So
Yeah.
we've already, and I'm also a psychologist, I'm finishing my PhD now, but
Wonderful.
we've both thought about like how could we bring this to elderly, and I just love the idea that you're already thinking about it and already researching it and sort of several steps ahead of where me and my mother were. But we just
Yeah.
purchased the Go and haven't introduced it to the care center yet, and really don't know
Right.
how to introduce it to the care center.
Yeah.
Because it is not very user friendly for elderly people, and
Yeah.
there aren't programs. There aren't
Yeah.
programs specifically to help them experience VR. So
Not
I'm
yet,
very
yeah.
interested to see in what direction you go with this, or even just the whole field goes in this, to see
Absolutely.
what kind of research happens, and then also what
Yeah.
results in it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
How we can apply it. Yeah.
Yes. Did you see the previous talk? Because there was David de Jong and Suzanne Lee, who are both doing this actively with many care homes in the UK and the Netherlands. They are really the
Yes.
experts with that. If you reach out to them on LinkedIn or Twitter, they are very, very generous with their findings, and they will, you know, they'll,
Okay.
any resources they have, they will want to share with you, and, you know, you can hook up with them. Please do that. Please do that.
Yes,
I think that
definitely.
is, yeah, that is the beauty of this community, and the whole mission and vision of Educators in VR is to find people over here and people over there connected and go and do your good stuff, you know, and then come back and share it for everybody else. Why should we be reinventing the wheel when we can do this? We can walk the talk, we can get in VR and have this kind of a conference. And to me, it's absolutely mind-staggeringly beautiful that all of you are at home no travel, no carbon dioxide, no hotels, no weak coffee in the restaurant, and we can be having an international summit. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that absolutely a sign of the times and beautiful? I mean, I was listening to a talk yesterday by Matt Chacon. He's the CEO of Rumi, the Doghead Simulations. They have a similar platform that isn't quite as social, but it's very powerful for learning experiences. So Rumi platform, you can see the sponsor sign on the wall there. And he was giving a talk about his company. They have saved 80% of costs with his company using VR. They don't have offices. They work in VR. They don't go to conferences. They set up meetings in VR. They don't have a carbon footprint of the size of Mars because they use VR. They don't meet their employees. He hires his employees in VR. And then occasionally they'll set up, they'll set up a meeting. All right, let's actually meet in the flesh. And you know what he said the first thing they do with his employees? They hug. Oh. They've never met. They're working together remotely on a collaborative tool. And when they meet for the first time, they just hug. Isn't that insane? I mean, he's walking the talk like nobody else I know. And I've met a couple of people from the Educators in VR community in the real world. And I have to say, I go and hug them as well. There's no, hello, how are you? Nice to meet you. It's like, dude, brother, sister, you know?
Yeah,
it feels
you
like
know
tribe.
them, right.
It feels like tribe. We've had experiences, you know? All right. Thank you for that, CJ. All right. Let me see. Anyone else want to make a comment about anything at all? Just gonna, who have we got here? Just gonna mute you there. Anyone else with a comment about anything at all to do with education or the community or hopes and concerns for VR? Federico, have you got anything you want to share there? No problem if you don't. Oh, you're okay? All right. We could just have a chat. Martin, listen, Martin, you were here yesterday and you were having problems with your microphone, if I remember correctly, or your audio. Should we try and switch you on? Maybe you want to ask your question now? Martin, where are you? There's Martin. See if we can get your megaphone working. You'll have to accept consent there.
There we go. Are you working?
Hey, Martin, we can hear you. Wonderful. Finally, yeah. How's it going?
Good, thanks. Good. No, I'm really enjoying this. These things, like some of these talks are so interesting.
Aren't they? Yeah. Yeah, and we have so many more to come. I mean, I'm knackered, and we're only day 2. This is going all the way till Saturday. Can you believe it?
I know. It's amazing.
Wonderful.
And like you say, the fact that you can do it in VR is perfect because
you
don't have to your own space, but you can be anywhere.
Exactly. And I mean, AltSpace is amazing. I love AltSpace, the platform, in terms of connecting and the community and the worlds you can build and so on. But please, 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 if I can ask you any favor, go and check out other platforms. Go and check out Rumi. Go and check out Engage. Go and check out Somnium Space if you can get there. Go and check out Mozilla Hubs is on the internet. It's called WebXR. And there's things like FrameVR.io. The internet is going to become very, very spatial very quickly. Spatial internet via WebVR, WebXR is the most exciting thing for me. The ease of collaboration across different devices and WebVR is super exciting. Go and check different platforms out because AltSpace does one thing really well. The next platform does something else amazingly well that you didn't imagine. I'm in love with the Engage platform. The stuff they're doing over there is just insane. They can do shared 360 videos. So you could take your whole class into a room, you could load up a YouTube 360 video, and your whole class will be watching that immersively together. That's just, it's just insane. You know, we can't do that yet on AltSpace. I think they're working on it. But these kind of possibilities, you have to go to other platforms to discover that. Okay, I think unless anybody's got an urgent question now, thank you for that, Martin. I'm going to mute you again there. And unless anybody's got a urgent question now, I'm going to get ready for the next presentation. I'm not sure what's on next here. Possibly, who's next? There's someone we got someone there. Let me go and check the schedule to see who's on next. Bear with me.
It's me.
Oh, is it you?
Yeah.
Lovely. Okay. Well, who's your host? Who's Matt? Do you know who your track team is?
Just right here.
Serenity, is Serenity here? I'll go. Oh, okay. Let's go and see if we can find Serenity. Was she here? I thought she was here.
She was here just now.
Okay, she'll come back in a minute then. I'm just gonna step to the side here. I'll be available, but just gonna mute myself for a minute.
Okay. Hi everybody. Welcome. Is everybody mute? I hope so. Okay, now you can talk. Did you come from my presentation or you just hear from the previous one? Hi everybody, can you hear me?
Now a little bit better.
Sorry. Okay, yeah, I needed the megaphone here. Very nice. Thanks for coming. Where's Serenity? Is he here? No? Should it come? Okay, it's my first time to do a presentation in VR. I hope I'm doing everything right. And I think this spatial audio thing doesn't allow me to hear all of you.
Hi Federico, I've just muted all the audience, so please you're free to start your presentation. While we're waiting for Serenity to arrive, I think she's left and coming back in. I'll just make a quick announcement for you, and then you can start if you want. Is that okay?
Okay, and she was supposed to manage my slides. Should I do it myself?
If you can, are you able to?
Yeah, let me log in.
Okay.
Into
All right. Well,
slides.
while you're doing that, I'm really excited about this talk because, yeah, I'm a language teacher myself. I teach here in Wales English as a foreign language. I teach refugees and migrant workers. And when I started working with VR, one of the things I thought, well, it's going to be great for experiences and talking, but and listening and role plays and that, but probably not for literacy, as in reading and writing. But then I came across a number of different projects that are looking at exploring how VR can be used for literacy and reading environments. So I'm really, really excited to hear about what you have to say about the subject. Are you managing to change your slides, Federico?
Yeah, let me see
okay,
if it works.
Yes, that's working for me. Emojis, everybody, if you can see this changing. Yep, lovely.
Yeah.
Okay, over to you, Federico, take it away.
Very nice. Thank you. So amplify my voice is on, and should I put on air or am I already on air? Okay, everybody can hear me, right? Show some hearts or clap your hands. Okay, very nice. My first time to do a presentation in VR. Very excited, and thanks for coming. I hope it will be an interesting topic for you if you're here. And I will be talking about immersive reading environments. That is how to use VR, different platforms and apps and devices to create a new way for people to access literature. Because we know everybody loves stories. We are surrounded by so many different kinds of stories right now. We have movies, dramas, video games, TV shows, comics, books, and all kinds of different VR experiences. But we also have a heritage of thousands of stories that have been passed on by generations. That is books, what is called literature. First orally, then into paper books, and now more and more mediated by technology with ebooks and mobile reading in different forms. But we've been used to thinking that literature has to be used through books, which is printed books. But actually, if you think about the history of humankind, the dominance of books and printed books is what has been called the Gutenberg parenthesis. Johannes Gutenberg was the guy who invented the printing press in the 16th century. And now, after 500 years, we are seeing like an effacement of the dominance of print because new kind of technologies are emerging, and reading has become more and more an activity that can be done through technology, mobile phones, tablets, desktop computers. So digital technology is really changing the way we read. So if you think about the evolution of storytelling, the dominance of print is just 7% of the time that humans have been telling each other stories. So it's a very small percentage of what is the evolution of storytelling. People, the original language, the Gutenberg parenthesis becomes 1%. So of course, we have been born and grew up thinking that literature and stories are mostly used through books, printed books, but maybe something is changing. This is not how it has to be all the time. And we're actually seeing already a change in this respect. But of course, many people are concerned about this. These are just 3 books that I put here of people that have been complaining that the internet and technologies are making us stupid, that our reading performance is getting worse and worse because of the use of technology. And actually, there is evidence that if the more we are exposed to digital technology, the more we read through digital media, the more our reading comprehension is worsened. But I think that that's mostly because we are just used to copy, to replicate the format of reading we are used to in print, in digital format. But if we use digital technology to conceive and to try and explore new ways of reading, maybe technology can enhance the reading experience. And in particular, I'm interested about the experience of reading fiction. Thanks for the applause. I appreciate it. So what I've been, of course, one of the reasons, the motivations behind the preservation of the printed stories, the written stories, is that there are many benefits related to reading. Just one example is that there is a study supporting the evidence that reading, even just for a short time, can reduce the stress much more than other kind of activities like going for a walk or playing video games. And what we talk about today is some attempts to read in VR and some ideas for the future of VR and reading fiction in particular. But why we can use VR? Well, the potential of VR is multiple. We know that VR can increase the sense of presence, that VR can create more immersive and engaging experiences compared to other media. And this is an example. Like being in this room with you, it's really making me feel like we are living in the same space, and it's really cool. And there is also a lot of evidence of research in psychology, neuropsychology, and in media studies about how VR can increase empathy towards others. And also some studies trying to prove the effectiveness of reality to increase memory. And I think someone else in the summit will be talking about memory palaces, how to create a memory palace in VR. That's a really cool thing to do. Anyway, some of the attempts that have been done to read in VR also involve one of the major players in the VR landscape, like HTC in 2016 introduced the white paper, which is now gone. Nobody's talking about it. Very few people know about that. But actually the developer kit is already on. You can download it if you want. You can try to experiment. And I thought about this with a material support, like a paper support, a leaflet that you can hold in your hands. And so it's kind of mixed reality, not really just virtual reality. And you could have 360 degrees pictures or videos and 3D models that you can upload and have the experience of reading in VR augmented with different kind of multimedia effects. Then there are kind of readers, very basic, like replicating the page in different kind of environments. Chimera is just one of these, so you can also upload your ebooks. Then there are reading experiences designed for a specific story, like this one about The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe. So one story and the environment that is curated to fit the atmosphere and the theme of the story. You see here that there's a creepy raven just sitting behind you on the chair, and paintings on the wall, like audio effects that they're supposed to increase the absorption into the story. Or a more complex form of digital art, what is called the electronic literature, like a Fireboard Lapri, which is mixing ballet, narrating voice, and some kind of interaction also of the audience with the unfolding of the story. Or a very interesting experience like QuickScreen's VR, which is using a kind of cinematic editing, so like a movie in VR, where you can follow a narrating voice telling you a story, but you also have to read part of the story, interacting with a replica of a book. Or very recent a sculpture in VR with a text unfolding around it. So this is a 3D model that you can explore with the different animations and the text, which is shaped not as a page, but moving freely in the spaces. So here we are already going beyond what is the traditional experience of reading on a page. And I think one of the most popular examples is VR comics. But the next slide is not coming. Let me check why the slide is not coming. Okay, yeah. And this is just one of these, the possible apps for reading comics in VR. It's called Spare-Tune. Basically, you're inside the illustration that becomes a 3D space with the text and audio effects. So you see, many players are trying to create reading experiences in VR. Later on, I will talk to you about a prototype that we developed to create a kind of a reading experience, but I want to introduce you my perspective as a researcher on this issue, because I want to understand, okay, we can use VR. We saw that the potential of VR is different, the presence, empathy, immersion, but is this really so? I mean, VR has been tested with many different kinds of experiences, 360 videos, interactive experiences, but not with reading. So me and some colleagues, we decided to try and see if VR can be used to enhance reading somehow. And our research question is, are we really more immersed in stories when we read in VR? So what are the psychological and emotional processes involved when we read in VR? Is that different from reading on paper? Well, the theory from which we started is that there can be some kind of an environmental propping from the context around you and the story. I mean, the non-verbal sounds of the ambient, the smell, and the tactile sensation can all influence the reading experience, meaning that the environment can trigger a stronger narrative absorption. For instance, imagine that you're reading about a boat sailing through the sea at night, silently approaching a mysterious island. And when you read this, you are on the banks of a river. Around you is quite silent, so you can only see the wind, you can only hear the wind between the grass and the sound of the flowing water. There is a matching of the experience you are living in the actual environment you are in, so the sound of the flowing water. And what is the story is trying to make you imagine the boat sailing in the water. So this matching between the actual environment and the story setting can somehow enhance the absorption and the engagement you have with the story. But this is a theory. We are trying to test this. So what we did to try on this, we created a very basic environment. This is made with the A-frame that Daniel mentioned before, with A-frame VR. It's a very simple 360 degrees image. We created basic animations for the text with the panel, not to depart too much from the reading experience of reading on paper. And we had people read the first chapter of Alice in Wonderland. We did this experiment in the Netherlands with 83 students. Half of them read on paper and half of them read in VR. And then we used the psychometric questionnaires to measure their willingness to continue reading. So the intention they had to continue the story because they enjoyed it. And also some psychological constructs like narrative absorption and empathy with the characters, which we think are crucial in the experience of reading fiction and enjoying it. The result is that actually people reading in VR were more really willing to continue reading further the story compared to people reading on paper. So this is the first result of proving that we can actually use a VR in an effective way to promote reading. Because if people reading in VR are actually more engaged in the story, this is a very potent, a very strong educational tool we have. I mean, we can introduce classics of literature through VR instead of giving paper books to our students. And maybe they will likely enjoy the story more. And how does it work though? It's not a very simple, direct thing. We found out that being in VR is increasing the transportation into the story world, which in turn is increasing the empathy with the character. And it is this process that is leading to a higher intention to read further the story. So the fact of the shift from the real world to the VR world is somehow helping to shift into the fictional world of the story. This is the feature of VR that is can be leveraged for making reading more absorbing. But of course, everybody knows that current technology is not the best for reading. With a headset, have a low screen resolution, readability is not so good, and you can experience it right now. I mean, the text of the slides here, it's flickering a little bit, it's not so clear, it's not sharp enough. And of course, being in VR for a long time, I want to read a novel for 3 hours. If I do that in VR, I would be, my eyes would be painful. So for now, until technology is ready and we have a more comfortable and suitable headset for this, we are trying to explore a different way. And you know that audiobooks are becoming more and more popular. So what we try to develop is an app to listen to audiobooks based on the same concept that I introduced before, that the environmental propping, so matching the environment with the story. So we modeled 4 different environments, one for mystery horror stories, one for adventure stories, one for science fiction, and a more general one for like a relaxing hut on the river. And I will now show you a video of the foggy LA you see in the top left corner. I hope everybody will see that and will hear, because you will see how we match the one story with the reading environment.
Faintly you came tapping at my chamber door. that I scarce was sure I heard you. Here, I opened wide the door.
If you can see it and you hear it, send me some hearts. I want to be sure you can see it.
Deep into that darkness peering.
Okay.
Long I stood there, wondering, fearing, doubting, dreaming dreams no mortal ever dared to dream before. But
yeah, and this is the menu where you can select the different environments and the story that you want. So far, did you like it? Did you hear and see it? Yeah. Okay. Thank you. This is just starting. We started with four environments, and we hope to expand it and increase the choice. The feedback we got from teenagers and also from elderly is that it's been a kind. Here I'm quoting the random comment. A teenager told us it's a kind of an intimate experience. He never had the experience of reading something that in such an intimate way. Someone said that they loved not having distractions while reading because wearing a headset, they are isolated from the external distractions, so they find it a good way to concentrate more on the text. Someone said they enjoyed it more than reading a paper book. But also, of course, we got negative feedbacks that will help us to improve. Someone said that the visuals are distracting. They don't pay attention to the story because they are looking around. They want to interact with the environment. So we are trying to improve this. And so far, we introduced this in the public libraries in Milan, in Italy, where we did the workshops with the students. And just 2 weeks ago, we had the chance to introduce this in a maximum security prison in Milan, and it's been a mind-blowing experience seeing them react to the use of VR in prison. Is something that is amazing. So if you have the chance to work with the prison, with the inmates, it's really something that can change their lives. And we will expand this, and we are introducing it soon in public library in Seoul, in South Korea, where I am based now. And I mentioned that in the libraries in Milan, we combine this app, which is now a permanent new service of the libraries. They have VR corners in 6 different libraries where everybody can go there and select the audiobooks they want and listen to them in VR. But we also organize the workshops with the patrons of the library to help them understand this new technology and how it can work. So we asked them for, it was an 8 hours workshop on 2 days. First, that we let them try the Story VR app, and then we asked them to design and conceive their own environments for reading. And we actually made them create the environments they wanted for reading. And for that one, we use Mozilla Spoke, which is a creation tool developed by Mozilla, which lets you create spaces that you can actually live and explore with everybody else in hubs, Mozilla hubs. So it's very easy, very straightforward. You can create and prototype in a few minutes, and then with a link you can join other people. And so we had users creating their the most satisfactory results from the students came with Agatha Christie stories. So they were imagining to create an environment for an Agatha Christie story, and then they were sending links to each other to explore that. So VR is offering the possibility to actively explore how to think about literature and stories, creating new elements that will help students and people to enjoy them more. Yeah, I'm done for now. I think I will open for questions if you have any. So let me figure this out. Okay. Yep. If you want, you can raise your hand and ask questions if you have any. Did I? Oh yeah. Deus. Please. Where are you?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, so you mentioned comic books in VR, and I myself had opportunity to try two experiences. One was Masters of the Sun, which is like a comic book in VR, and also Remedy was recently released using Oculus Quill, or just Quill. Also a very interesting experience and very immersive, very interesting, very engaging. But I'm just wondering if it's not very text heavy. How do you see this kind of medium and how it would work? And do you think it would work if you would just increase the volume of text, right? So that there will be less happening, maybe there will be the background wouldn't change as often, or the visuals wouldn't change as often. Would that impact the engagement? Because right now the engagement is big, but I'm wondering if it's just not because that's the nature of the comic, also in VR, that you have a lot of visuals, but the text also is kind of short. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for your question. Actually, yeah, that's a challenge to find the right balance between text and the visual and the also the audio that VR is allowing you to introduce.
Yes, because I'm wondering, like, the idea is to engage people and to promote reading, right? So if the comic is too focused on the visuals and on the action, well, obviously the engagement will be big, but will it promote reading or will it contribute to what people call like Twitterification of readership?
Yeah, that's a very good point. But what I want to be clear is that when I'm talking about promoting reading, my end goal is not to make people read in VR at all costs. I want to use VR, and I think that's the power of the medium, to create a new point of access to literature. So people who don't read, who don't like to read, maybe because they have never been exposed to books, they didn't have around them, they didn't have the example of people reading, they can be fascinated by the new technology, so they can access and find the new stories through the technology. And maybe after 15 minutes they read the first chapter, they listened to the first chapter of a novel, they got engaged in the story, they want to continue the story. And of course, sometimes it's much easier to pick up the book or the podcast or the audiobook and continue the story with a different medium, with a different format. So yeah, VR can be used as a tool. If we are educators, we are used to think of media and all the different tools that we have as a way to achieve our goals and to empower our students and the people we are working with. Not the medium and the tool is never the end of the process. It's just a part of making them achieve something bigger and making them learn and enjoy what they're doing.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
Thank you for your question. Anybody else? No? Well, that's cool. Where's Daniel, who was my host, supposed to be here? No? Okay.
I'm sorry that he had to leave. Hang on,
fine.
My megaphone on. I apologize. Daniel got called into something. So thank you so much for your awesome presentation. We really appreciate you being at the summit. And thank you so much for attending, you guys. Really appreciate it. So yeah, let's give
Thanks, everybody.
Lots of love here.
Thank you.
Oh,
Thank
you guys
you.
are amazing. Okay, so thank you.
If you want to chat, I'll be around.
Okay, so one thing that we have available, if anybody wants to keep going with the conversation, if you head out to the lobby, you'll notice right by just to the right of the stairs, there, excuse me, there is a portal that will take you to our social lounge. So you're welcome to head into there and carry on the conversation, and then we'll see you back for the next presentation. Okay, guys. So thank you so much for coming. Really appreciate it. Okay. Hey, mister, how are you? Hey, I'm going to come down there. I don't want to be standing above you.
Well, I can hear you clearly now. Yeah, what's
Well,
happening is like I can see the arrows, but they're grayed out. I can see the refresh thing, but I can't see the arrows.
So
They're still not there, no.
now I'm just going to, I don't even see slides. So what am I going to do here? Just hang on.
I haven't been able to see any of the slides at all.
Yeah, just so you know, who said that?
Olive Tree?
Yeah, Olive Tree, my humble apologies. That's one of the reasons I couldn't help move the slides for him, because I couldn't see them either. And that's one of the problems, that we re-enter and some of us still can't see the slides, so it's really, really frustrating. I so apologize. Hi, Victoria.
Hi.
Sorry about all the confusion. And my
Yeah, that's okay.
Now, just out of curiosity, during the session, were you able to see the slides?
Yeah, I'm able to see the slides and I can start presenting. So apparently I can even control it. Yeah, I can.
Yeah. Okay, so hang on, I just have to mute myself. Okay.
Yeah.
So that is so helpful to know, Victoria. So when you looked at the arrows, they were not grayed out for you?
No, they're white and yeah, it works for me.
So I don't know.
Yeah, that's
I tried to make somebody else a host before I knew who you were, and Zebius here couldn't actually see the arrows were grayed out for him. So I don't know what that means.
That's really strange.
Yeah, it is, right? Although it would not be the first strange thing we've seen in here. That I have learned that we are kind of flying by the seat of our pants a lot of the times. So who's the next speaker in this room?
Oh, I have no idea, honestly.
Which event is this? I have to say the grouping of events seemed like a good idea at the time, and it's proved to be the most terrible idea, and we'll never do it again. But trying to find an event when they're inside other events is like it just plays with the mind.
I see 2 events at 4 in Pacific time, Tanya Keelan and Daniel Dyboski-Bryant, but they are on corporate and general topics. I'm not sure that they are in this environment. Honestly, I don't know.
Okay, so LearnCraft, when I'm looking at the schedule, LearnCraft is Daniel. Who's the other one that's, oh, you know what? I bet you in elderly and dementia, oh, that one's finished now. Okay, Frederick was the last one in that one. And then, so Daniel is one, and the other one starts, okay, the workplace one, and that is Tanya.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me just see. Let me just see who we've got working with Tanya. Victoria, are you supposed to be a mod for any other event?
Yeah, today one more event, but it's a bit later, not in this event. But
okay, so if we needed you in the Tanya event, would you be able to help?
Yeah, maybe not super active, but I can support if it's needed.
Okay, yeah, because for the Tanya one, I'll be honest, we have literally nobody that was scheduled for this session. Victoria, can I see this? What is your username in Altspace?
Yeah, Aspiring07. I can text it to you.
That's who you are?
Yeah.
Okay, Victoria. Okay, sometimes it takes me a bit of time. So I apologize. You were supposed to have mod rights for the last one, and we didn't give it to you. I am so sorry. So if you're able to stay for this one, that would be so appreciated.
Unfortunately, no, I cannot because I have another appointment in offline.
You do? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, no problem at all. But thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah. So, do you need some help for preparing for this event? Because right now I have a bit of time to, I don't know, to help you with something. And in like 15 minutes I have to leave.
Okay, Victoria, do you know how to get to the, can you go to the VIP space and see if the speaker is waiting there?
Let me check.
Is that something you can do?
I have to find VIP space first of all.
Hang on. That's okay. Hang on, she's just sending me a message, and I'm gonna find out where she is. Holy cow. She's sending me a direct message.
Yeah, I can go to VIP Lounge if it's needed.
Okay, I hope she knows what I'm talking about. I'm gonna go where she 428, and she's the first one of a block, right? I think that's what we just saw, right? That she was the first one of a block.
Tanya.
Oh, Olive Tree, it's so nice to connect with you. Thank you for sending me the request. Are you still standing there? Yeah.
I'm here. Thank you very much.
Yeah, how long have you been in Altspace?
This is the second day, but I've been in virtual worlds for over 10 years.
Oh, that's
Second
so
Life,
awesome.
Open Simulator, and
yeah,
Minecraft.
Oh, that's awesome.
And World of
Okay, Zafios, I'm gonna connect with you because we so need help, and I know that you can. I know that you can do this sort of thing. So I'm just gonna try and get to where Tanya is right now.
Yeah, I wish I could help. I've tried resetting your browser, and that's what I do in my space to get the screen to work. Now I've left and come back in, and I can't see the slides anymore either. And the arrows are still grayed out, but the refresh is there.
Yeah, it's so crazy,
either.
right? Yeah. Okay. Okay.
For me, it's just a gray screen.
It is for me now too.
Yeah.
Is there a space or an area where there is technical help or some moderators or?
Yeah, we are technical help. Sorry, I have to go to the other space. I'll talk to you guys later.
Okay. See you later. Take care.
Yeah, see you. So, okay guys, I have to leave. If you need some help, we can connect somehow in Discord probably.
Okay, thank you very much and have a great day.
Yeah, you too. Have a great day. Bye.
Bye. Hi, Jane. Jane, can you hear me?
Yeah.
In the middle. Okay, you're here.
Oh, can you hear me though?
Yes, now I can.
Wow, I didn't know. This is my first time here.
Yeah, I was here yesterday, and this is my second day. Second time.
Well, I've been trying to log in last night, but it just took forever. Today when I opened up this Altspace VR, it downloaded something and then it worked.
Okay, excellent. But can you see the screen?
No,
I don't know if there's anything. Yeah.
So they've been having problems with the screen?
Not everybody. Many people have been able to see it and even watch the videos that they put on and heard them. I couldn't at all. I couldn't hear this. I could hear the speaker and everybody else, but not the screen or the videos.
Okay, I can't either.
for the Minecraft one?
So this session is this session over?
Yes, this is over, and I've been trying to figure out which one is. I mean, what comes next. But
Do you have? So do they have like the recordings of the Minecraft one?
I recorded it.
Oh.
I'm not sure if they're recording because there is an avatar at the back of the room here. If you hover over it, it says camera. So I'm not sure whether this is a person or it's just a bot for a camera that records everything. But I did record anyways, just in case.
Was it interesting?
It is very interesting. The only thing is that because I've never tried VR myself and I don't have the headsets and so on, I can't really I can't figure out the difference because everything that they talk about, kids and adults feel it with that on the screen. Perhaps it's augmented, it's like it's bigger, or you feel it, like viscerally. I don't know. But it'd be a very interesting experiment or something to try. Do you have a headset? Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
Do you hear me?
Hi. Is
Hi.
that David?
Yep.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Hi there. Oh, I just realized, that you can see the avatar's mouth moving. That's cute.
I can see that when you're talking, you light up.
Oh, because I'm a robot, I guess. But your mouth moves.
That's how I found you.
Oh,
your
right.
Voice.
Okay.
Recognizing your voice and that you were like lighting up while you talk. Otherwise, I wouldn't have recognized who's talking.
Yeah, that's a difficult part because I keep looking around and it's very hard to figure out who's talking. I mean, the sound is fairly spatial. I mean, when you're closer to an avatar, it's louder, but still, like if someone at the back of the room or in front of the room is speaking, you don't know who's talking.
There is a left-right separation.
Yes.
It is stereo.
Yeah, I noticed that. Yeah.
But no, back.
Is the next session going to be held in this same room?
I have no idea. I'm still trying to check. Like if you go into that middle menu thing that looks like a triangle, the logo thing, and then click on events.
Popular events. It shows that this event is still live and it ends in 24 minutes.
Yes, actually, one of the events that were like 2 hours ago is still showing as live on my screen.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not sure that this is still. I mean, it's new, so there are things to iron out.
I see the next one starts in 24 minutes. It's VR workplace assessment and design.
The one that was also interesting, but unfortunately I missed most of it. I just was here for the last part and question and answer, but it's still, it was still very interesting. The one about elderly and dementia VR, immersive reading.
I think it's this one, right? At least it's the one elderly and dementia VR immersive reading.
No, it was a different one.
It was a different one.
Yeah, I mean, this one was about reading in VR, but it wasn't about dementia.
Oh.
They were, the one that I'm talking about, the experiment experiments were with elderly specifically, not with any teenagers or anybody else, and some of the results and some of the reaction of those people. Okay, let me see. And one, I think the mixed reality was the one that I think didn't work. They had a lot of technical problems. I think so. I think that was the one. The presenter had to just leave it for now. In any case, I mean, no, it doesn't allow for teleport yet. Maybe it's here. Info. No, I haven't met anybody that you would know. I met someone from Second Life, but that was last night. A lady from Germany who's been in Second Life for a long, long time, an educator. No, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if you can, but yeah, some people look like they're sitting, but I don't know how to do that.
How do you sit or wait?
Just go directly above the tree, this chair, and it works.
Oh, right, okay. As in, teleport to it or just move towards it?
Oh, okay.
I just moved towards it.
Oh, okay.
But it looks like it doesn't work for you as you're standing on a chair. Oh no.
Maybe robots can't sit. I don't know.
How do you have like a camera view of yourself?
A camera what?
Is it always like a first person?
Yes. Which for somebody who is used to. No, I don't think so. At least not yet. And even to take a picture, you have to make it into a selfie. You cannot take a picture of people in front of you. Yeah, well, I think they're early days. Excuse me, I'm muting myself a second. Am I muted? No.
Nope. I can still hear you.
Well, this is real exciting.